Standing by for Q1 GDP. Data is supposed to be coming out here any second now. We'll get that. My data is a little bit delayed there. Here it is. Negative 2.5% to the downside on the sales side of things. That is versus 0.7% uptick expected there for, again, Q1 sales on the GDP side. PCE prices set to come through here as well in a couple of seconds. 3.1% expected for GDP prices index on the Q1 print. We'll stand by for that. Real consumer spending quarter over quarter, 1.8% versus 2.2%. GDP growth rate Q1 negative 0.3% versus 0.5% expectation. We did get that ADP employment change number earlier this morning at 8:15. That was a huge downside print as well. 62,000 versus 110,000 expected there. So a bit of a miss as far as that is concerned. Again, 3.7 versus 3 right across the board there for Q1. It's an advanced print, so we'll see how the market reacts here. Just hearing downside a little bit. Real consumer spending downside a little bit as well. Coming up at 10 o'clock. More on the inflation side, so that could move things around as well. We'll get the month-over-month core PCE print. That's usually an 8:30 number with the amount of data coming out this morning. They shifted that to 10 o'clock. The expectation there, 0.1% on the month-over-month print. Flat for the overall year-over-year number there for PCE. Market continuing this downside movement over 1% now for the NASDAQ as we get going here into what's going to be a big day regardless of this data, with earnings to come tonight after the close. We'll get Meta, we'll get Microsoft, the first of the big tech names coming through this week. A whole bunch of things moving around here as far as earnings this morning. There's Snapchat at day lows now, 15% to the downside for Snapchat. Starbucks trying to chase that, 9.5% to the downside for S-Bucks. Nvidia now 3% to the downside. Some ratings agency I've never heard of initiating coverage with a sell on Nvidia this morning. Miss Adair with me. Good morning.
Good morning. It should be a pretty exciting day, that's for sure. Not always do we get a number as big as PCE coming through at 10 a.m. So we know sometimes these 10 a.m. numbers can move the market. Obviously, exercise caution if you're going to be involved during that print because PCE is huge. Market, though, definitely
not liking
pushing
that.
to the lower
end. Not liking that. We'll do a run through here once again if you're just joining a little bit late. Prices for GDP quarter over quarter PCE prices, I should say, 3.6% versus 2.1%. So a little bit of an uptick there. That's not good. GDP sales quarter over quarter, again, an advanced print negative 2.5%. That's not good versus a 0.7% uptick expected there. Core PCE, again, an advanced print for Q1, 3.5% versus 2.2%. We've been seeing that quarter over quarter here for a year and a half, 2 years or so on that number specifically. Q1 GDP price indexes as well, 3.7 versus 3. So another to the upside there. Overall, this sell-off accelerating for the market, guys. Now, better part of 1 and change for the market, but a lot of red on individual names as well.
Yeah, yuck. Yuck. What are you
I mean, I came in, was like, okay, this is bad. And then it was like down 0.8, down 0.9, down 1, down 1.27 right now. And we were just talking about it. Maple Leaf guy is over here too. So
at least
Maple
now
Leafs
all of a
wind up
sudden,
losing.
yeah, it's not. It makes that not as bad that the Leafs lost. I don't know how these.
Well, I was telling Neil I'm going to my first Jays game in a while here today, and I was doing some research. I was looking them up. And I realized I don't even know if I can name 10 Jays. And also, like, 2 and 8. Toronto right now, I mean, at least the Raptors aren't playing in the playoffs. So we don't have to worry about that. But then the Raptors won too many games in the last couple months to not even really be – I don't even think they're in the lottery. So it's going to be an absolutely interesting moment around here for sports teams. But also the market, Snapchat, horrible, right? Down 15%. SMCI kills the whole semiconductor space in one preliminary report. We didn't even get to that yet today. Nvidia's down 3%.
Starbucks hit. I mean, it's just...
Yeah, I tried to support Starbucks last night by buying something, but it didn't work out.
The hits keep on coming everywhere.
76, Jesus.
Amazon's down a couple of points as well, and it's just you're catching strays all over the place. I mean, like, Apple's only down a point, but just kind of looking through my quote board here, I should always sort it like this. Just the names that I'm looking at here. You got the NCLA, throughout the travel names to the downside. You got Tesla down 3% right now. What's actually, oddly enough, okay, don't jinx it, but what's holding up decently is, I mean, Bitcoin holding 94.7, kind of holding yesterday's low. So there's a little bit of decent strength, I guess, relative strength in IBIT, I suppose. So that's going to be possibly in play today. As long as we hold that low, I'm kind of going to like this one if we're even thinking about any longs, because I don't know, even the levels that we're putting in to short some things in the notes, like you can forget about them now unless we get some decent sized bounces. But it's like earning misses across the board. We still have more data to come, but this is not a very good start. The only thing that I guess could be positive about this start to the day is more economic pressure and bad data could lead to more backing off with the administration. Maybe that's going to be the case. So that could be like a silver lining in there somewhere, because there aren't many right now. SMC at 19% down. Yuck.
I mean, thank God I rotated 95% of my portfolio into WW about a week ago. Otherwise,
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
I mean, that's a savior of everything. WW up another 20%, although it's a little misleading because we were up here yesterday. We had that, pretty epic fall there near the end of the day. So WW goes from 70 cents there up to 88 again after touching almost $1. Thank you, Randy. We definitely are liking the plums. Thank you. Oh, he's gone. Quick in and out there for Randy. But yeah, at least this name's starting to go a little bit here. I don't know what Palantir, I haven't looked at that. Just trying to see what some runners are doing here. Oh my gosh, I just tried to short Nvidia. How did I just miss that? I was at 106. I thought it was climbing upside there a little bit. Nvidia, where did it just get to? Oh man, what did that got to? 86. Okay, I was just gonna short right now in the pre-market. Like that's how bearish I'm feeling today. Yeah, this has to turn around. I don't know. I'm not gonna be having any longs written on here. I'm not feeling it. After that, sort of that clown show yesterday, Scott Bessent is in charge of China. No, he's not. Lutnick's in charge of China. Well, actually, Donald Trump's in charge of everything. There's deals, there's not deals. It's just that kind of stuff. Honestly, until they get it all figured out, I'm not super interested in playing this whole tariff game anymore. I just want to play the momentum and what we see in the market here. And then if there's any highlights that come through or headlines that come through,
I feel like there's going to be one today. It just feels like the kind of day where everything seems really bad, and then Trump comes out.
Are we getting a truth?
Rally us. Well, I'm going to make sure I have it up. Well, I mean, I usually do, but I'll hit the refresh right now. Make sure if something comes across that wire, you know the drill. If Trump says buy or Trump says deal, you hit the buy key, cancel your offers, that kind of thing. And I'm glad you reminded me about WW, because that's still possibly challenging that dollar level.
Yeah.
So that breakout could maybe still happen. The 70 level was pretty good early on yesterday. It's going to do a ton of volume. It did, I don't know, over $500 million, I believe. 700 million or so yesterday. So it does a couple hundred million today. That's going to be in play for sure. Sometimes on these types of days, your gappers, your squeeze names might be the only long game in town.
I mean, look, April is going to go out maybe like a bear instead of that lion, that bull that we had thought it would be. But you still had a decent month in April. I mean, we did have that huge move down. The volatility's here. This is not I'm not trying to make a comment on the tariff situation at all. I just wish it was a little more organized. Like, okay, today we are going to be announcing these kind of deals, or I don't know. They said that they had 17, 18 maybe deals being worked on. That just seems like a lot. And I just, I just want to see something on paper. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what Donald Trump and, this administration is trying to do, is trying to, get back some competitive balance in the trade deficit, I guess. So that's fine to try to correct that. I don't like the messaging seems to be throwing off investors and traders. Like it's hard to step in long term when you have some of these thoughts. And then GDP there was negative, which started that going. Miss minus 0.3 versus plus 0.2, I believe, was that number that just came out at 8:30. So look, it's going to be a great day at the end of the day. I mean, every day is a nice day, and we'll just hope for more volatility, and we're getting it right now in the pre-market. The market just lost another spot right there. We are really, this is Palantir. Whoops. I also saw AMD fall off a ledge there when, when when it broke VWAP, I mean, basically at 8 o'clock, we just started getting pumped, right? And then, of course, SMCI not helping anybody today with that early forecast. And just horrible, right? They were looking for $5.5 billion or something. They got 4. Like it's not good. Plus accounting issues at SMCI. Not that there is any. I'm not trying to start anything, but there was for a while. What was it, Dara? They didn't put their report out for 8 months or something like that, and they almost got delisted. So it's like
nothing to see here.
I don't know, man. I just need Rainey to come over here and tell me to buy. I need Rainey to refill the coffee and tell us to buy Rivian. Is what I need him to do, because I need some calmer heads here today. But
then probably
tell me something
not
interesting
today.
You're going to trade today. I mean, maybe WW. Is there anything else?
On the list was SMCI, for, like, obvious names. AMD, which I literally just canceled my AMD offer because it's laughable where it was before. It's completely irrelevant at this point. Tesla is going to be in play. But I think WW might be pretty tradable. I went over to look at HIMS to see if that was going to be at least a little bit interesting.
Good look.
But no, it's just the buyers aren't coming back into this one. I feel as if there's a small cap we're going, maybe you guys will throw something out there, but this is at least gapped up above the afternoon range. And even if it were to dip, you have like I'm just talking about WW. There's like a couple of levels that come into play. But I don't like, we're underneath VWAP, we're underneath the volume weighted average price after failing $1. So it's going to have to show some kind of a bottom or settle down. Like, there's not even a lot of small caps that you can roll into at this point. See in the chat here, Juan Padilla saying Baba's green for now. Yeah, it's green for now, but look at that chart. This is also dropping like an absolute rock. Things need to settle down, because you're going to have some stocks, if we continue this and get to like 2%, you're going to be so far down, you might just get some of that sympathy rally stuff early on. Like even Tesla's at 280. Sorry, check that. 279.
270, okay.
Like we're at yesterday's low on Tesla. This is getting a little bit intense. There might be a little bit of a bounce play, I think, at some point in coming if we drop way, way too far here. You don't usually go straight down.
You just doubled the loss since we went on air. Yeah.
Insane. Let's get back to the desk before it gets worse.
Yeah. Stop the bleeding.
A few other ones that have already gotten worse. Not a good look here on the digital advertising side ahead of Meta to come after the close tonight. Here's AppLovin, just not barely a green candle here. Straight downside to the tune of about 17%. Digital Turbine following suit, which is APPS, also to the downside here, about 4.5%. Again, Meta to come after the close tonight, 2.6%, already at session lows here as the entire market continues to melt a little bit here. I mean, I'm just looking at some other names here. All the Chinese names are red. Palantir, Sean was saying red. Microsoft, we get red. Coming up later today as well.
A lot of the earnings names this morning were pretty red as well. There were some exceptions. No, Etsy and Caterpillar were relatively positive earlier today, but NCLH took a huge hit. A lot of the names that reported last night are red. Snapchat, Starbucks. We also had for solar really to the downside. So it's hard to find a point of strength, especially when you're looking at these earnings names. Tonight, though, in addition to Microsoft and Meta, we also get Robinhood, and we're going to be getting Qualcomm as well. So a couple different tech names to look at.
Yeah, Snapchat, an interesting report, interesting call specifically. He was on, the CEO was on a podcast I was watching on the weekend and was showing or displaying these glasses that they've been working on a little bit more with the augmented reality built in. They actually look pretty cool. Very similar to Meta's latest contraption, that giant sunglasses thing that Zuck was running around with going back. I think it was last quarter he was showing that. But anyways, Snapchat day lows here right now. There's nothing new on this to pass along this morning. They did mention AI in the report as much as they possibly could, I noticed, and even how they were going to integrate AI into your ability to send Snapchats going forward. But no help here, guys. Snap looking pretty ugly.
No, and this is the kind of thing that drags the group down. At least
profits.
The good news for Snap, I suppose, would be you get Meta after the bell, so it's entirely possible that
$7
can possibly make things not so bad. I don't know. Like, I'm looking over, and we're holding at 1.7 down. Like, Tesla actually bouncing off 280. Snapchat, I think today this is on the list of SSR plays for me. Like, it's going to be down 10% plus. I'm just looking at the 52-week low, and it's right at $7. I mean, That kind of just stands out there. So it would take a hefty, we'd have to break 750. That might be a first look or some kind of a reversion play. But if we break 750, it's like 701, I think, is the actual 52-week low on Snapchat. You're not going to see anything that kind of clean if we get down there. But I'll take a shot. I think if we get to $7, I'm taking some kind of a shot at a reversion play on Snapchat. Like, you're so far for, like, at this point, a lot of these names, you're going to need a pullback. Like, I wanted, like, SMCI at, like, 30.5 or some nonsense like that. Like, okay, it's at 29. Snapchat has a reasonable chance that you can even get to $8, though, for a pop. It was down so far that really 30, 40 cents is nothing for it to pop back into the upside. So the even dollars are the only thing I'm looking at for Snapchat. I think you get a really big tell tonight with Meta when it comes to advertising. Like, Snapchat can drag everybody down, and Pinterest is down on that. But if Meta disappoints us, it's a whole other ball game. You know, Snapchat's toast if Meta disappoints us because they're the big fish. And Meta under a lot of pressure here. Yikes, this is testing a big support level.
They're all screwed
as well. Like, this is
because this
intense.
Honestly, Neil, I think the problem is now we have this recession fear.
Yep.
You know, with that GDP lower number, it's not that. That's the fear. That's the fear right now. Earnings have been okay. Like, check out Snapchat here. Okay, so I know they just repeated the numbers, but I'm going to do it again. So the company lost 8 cents per share versus an expectation of 13 cents per share, minus 13 cents. So that's better. Sales of 1.36 billion, expected 1.35 billion, better. So beat on the top and the bottom line. Daily active users grow 9%, fine. EBITDA grew 137%. So where do you think Snapchat would be? Down 17%? I mean, this thing just declined to give guidance, which I think is a smart thing to do in this space. But obviously, it has sounded alarms, right? And so Snapchat actually, I think it's it's hard for me to say that B word. I cannot say it. Bottom? No, I don't like it's at these levels right now where we were just at $9, $10, and the report isn't that bad, but it's not that great either. I mean, I don't think it's right now. You don't really want to be investing in companies that lose money. And in this environment where, especially if we just talked about the R word a little bit there, Rangers, New York Rangers, that's the R word. You don't. Oh, the Knicks, by the way, could have eliminated the Pistons, but the Pistons came back yesterday and won. Is the Lakers are tonight, I guess? I don't want to miss that one. I thought they were last night, but then I was looking, it was the Clippers there, I believe.
Murray went.
Yeah, versus Denver, right? What a series. Okay. But anyway, so Snapchat downside, it's a negative company. Like, look at the TQQs right now, just to show you guys how dramatic this move down has been. You know, when we just opened the lights, turned the lights on for the show, it was right here. That's 53.50. 51.50, just straight fire in the booth. Look at this move. Boom to the downside. But looky, maybe potential support. So although this is a dramatic move down, we have to remind everybody, this just goes back 2 days. So that's the 2 day ago bottom. So potentially bounce area right now. But yeah, as Brendan and Adara keep mentioning, man, these and Neil, I'm going to do the same thing on my Nvidia that you did on your AMD because
cancel.
It's like, I tried to punch the 106 short. Okay, my order is still pending at an amazing 105.95. So I crossed 5 cents. That did not matter. And now it's all the way back down into 104. I was only trying to use half a unit. I wasn't trying to go crazy, but it would have been a nice move here to start the day to already be short. But now I can just hit escape, cancel my order, and wait to see what happens here off open. Before we go back, I just want to show you the imbalances here today. Sometimes they're interesting on big dramatic days, and today they're not. There really isn't that much here. There's even more buys than sells. Snapchat with a baby sell right there. That seems like that's already in the market. And I was thinking about selling Uber yesterday because I opened the stock up and I was like, this is at $80. Like, through everything that we've been going through in this market, look what Uber's done. in the last couple weeks, right? Taking out the 200, taking out the 50, and almost getting back to all-time highs is Uber. Look, you got to get to 88, but we are there at $81, $82. So there are some green shoots in this market, and I know we're getting a little long in the tooth about all of this. I'm not sure if Raheem is Raheem scheduled. Is he coming today, Brendo? Okay. So hopefully he'll be here. That's why I'm kind of delaying a little bit to see where he was. But gold also down here today as well. So, all right, let's go back over the desk and we'll just continue going over what we need to. Our watch list, also something that I think everybody needs to grab. Tons of information on there, including Jeff. If you're looking
best
for
stock ever,
Jeff brands moving today as well. So. Yeah, Adara, you're catching some heat for the red, of course, but it looks lovely. Nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do.
It's a predictor, apparently. Should have known.
All right.
Short when we sat down and saw her.
Yeah, I tried. Let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, Raheem just messaged me and said, I took a bad road.
Oh,
I replied saying, is there a good one?
Fair point, especially in where we are here downtown in Toronto.
It's a disaster. He lives he's literally 3 blocks away, and it's like it takes 30 minutes. Honestly, he could get here faster walking, I believe. Anyway, a couple other things to note. Again, if you missed it this morning, negative on the GDP. That's not a good look, 0.3%. Run through those real quick once again for anyone just joining. The odds of a recession, according to Kalshi on this print, jumped from just over 60% to now 74%. Again, U.S. economy into a recession, negative 0.3 on that advanced GDP print.
That was not a great print. Now, I do want to remind everyone, 10 a.m., we have a print that is very closely watched, often considered the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. That will be the PCE, so definitely keep an eye on that. Coming through at 10, we'll get PCE, we'll get core PCE. We're also going to be getting some spending-related data and consumption data. So 10 a.m. should be a huge thing to watch out for in terms of economic numbers. I think Trump's expected to speak a little bit today, as he often is, usually later in the day. And keep an eye, as always, on these Truth Social posts, because regardless of what he says, I found especially if you post them before 11 a.m., they'll do something to the market.
We will keep an eye out. Microsoft, interesting look here, guys. About to take out this low, going back to the pre-market from yesterday. So heads up on Microsoft, not one that we've been paying much attention to. But I just noticed when I sat down here this morning, they've jammed Copilot into even Windows 10 now. It's the first time I noticed it anyways. It popped up on this computer, maybe on an update over the weekend or something, but even Windows 10 getting Copilot now. Hey, Raheem's here.
I guess he just did decide to take his helicopter. Yeah, so that's great. So thank you, Raheem, for coming through today. And we were just talking about how there's never a good road to take here in Toronto, no matter which way you're trying to get here.
Well, someone in the chat's like, Canada has bad roads. I'm like, Canada's like everywhere else. Let's be real.
Maybe Raheem can calm the market because we are tanking right now.
This is a problem.
But it'll be interesting to hear what we're talking about right there. But yeah, look, I mean, Microsoft, we talked about earnings, coming through. Our Microsoft is tonight, right? There's a bunch coming. I'm writing my sticky note right now, and I'm just writing like NASDAQ's in trouble. Like all of these names right now are in trouble because we've had such a nice move back. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, maybe we should sell this rally a little bit, especially if now we're going to get recession fears back in. And then, as Adara said, some key numbers coming out today that could, ring the bell even more. So I would say we're going to watch out here for Softy. Again, possible move into the downside. You're looking for it to break through the 50-period moving average. That's 385. That's close enough to where we are right now. That probably hits. Watch out for the spread on this name. It might be easier to trade one of the derivatives rather than MSFT itself, but it could get bad. I don't know anything. I mean, the Copilot and all that. I was actually saying whether or not you're using ChatGPT or Perplexity, I just sort of started using Grok. I think that's been pretty good. It's fast. But then I was dealing or messing around with Perplexity last night as well, just to see, and that's pretty good too. Like I don't really know where the value's coming with all like 4 or 5 of these. You got to include Gemini as well. So I think Microsoft and that whole ChatGPT thing is a nice story, but OpenAI is a story in itself. So, but yeah, I don't know. Microsoft downside. it's not really a cool, a good long yet for me, especially as we wait for earnings. So I'm going to hold off on many of these tech names. I would rather trade a name that is either further out earnings, or a name that's already reported, like a Google or something like that, where we can sort of feel that play and not have to wait around for earnings. So yeah, maybe Google might be something to trade to the south side rather than a Microsoft heading into earnings.
I just feel like Microsoft's gotten a little boring.
Yeah.
It's only down 1 point right now, which that's good because the market's down too. And maybe you got the 50 period, like you said, you can bounce off that for some kind of a long, but you want things that are going to move a little bit more. Like Amazon to me, like, oh, wow, like we failed the 190. This is enough. Like, there's just so many stocks. It's like, oh, yeah, look at that double top that Amazon made for a couple of days at 188 to 189. Let's short that. We're at 182 right now. Like, you can stick a fork in all of these great levels that were to the upside, but I just think you're going to get an outsized move today. We will in the market for sure, and I'm going to stick with trying to figure out Amazon. A lot of the support and resistance that you might have thought you were playing off of when we ended the day yesterday, when you came in, you sat down, you're just going to have to adjust, because we might have to weather a bounce. If you're feeling bearish, I think you're going to have to weather a bounce early in the day. Let's get to the desk, because we have our good friend Raheem ready to go.
Oh, Caterpillar was
already. Anyway, you made it. Good to see you. It's been a week of tariffs and auto talk, really, especially late in the afternoon yesterday. We got, there was going to be a reprieve. There's maybe not going to be a reprieve. Nobody really knows what the reprieve will be for these automakers. Exactly. So
a reprieve at any minute now.
Let's wait an hour and it'll change. You sent me this. We'll start with just the overall look at this is auto parts versus the S&P 500.
Small difference.
Yeah, tough to see, but 114%, and this is negative 0.3.
Yeah, so if you had a crystal ball and you knew what the government was going to do and you decided to act accordingly, you would have made a lot of money.
That's crazy.
Being on the right side of that auto parts trade, because everything is going to come back to the U.S. is what the president has decided will occur. I don't know how you do that in a logistical time frame that makes sense. But, we're not logistical people. But if you're an American company that supplies auto parts, well, this is a great place to be. And if you're a Canadian company that supplies auto parts, or a Mexican or a European company, you don't know what your fate's going to be a day, a week, an hour from now.
Yeah, which leads us to some other individual companies. Magna we'll start with here, which is a Canadian name, also listed down in New York as well for anyone on the NYSE. Going to report on Friday. You and I were just talking about the simple fact that a lot of these have already decided to pull their forecast. We were just talking about Snapchat and among others that have done the same thing, rightfully so in this environment, I would think.
Yeah, again, we don't know which way they're going to go, but this is a stock, Magna, and MGA is the ticker in the U.S. for our American friends. Almost Mega is what I said off camera. It is a Canadian bellwether for the auto parts sector. It's been around forever. Frank Stronach has led the company all the way through from its humble beginnings to where it is now. And that's a company that was down, it's down to $43, which is its 52-week low. It's 10% off of that at about $48 right now. Has gone up to 68. But it's a stock again. A stock like Magna is down 19%. I kind of just want to say Magna to help them.
It's so close.
But down 19%, and a stock like Magna does not move with that level of torque. So you're seeing that with a lot of these Canadian auto parts companies because they are so resilient on the U.S. I mean, they have 170,000 employees worldwide, offices everywhere, but just because of what's happening with the U.S., you're seeing that happen. So yeah, they are going to report Friday, 8 a.m., so you may want to, again, tune in to see what kind of learnings you might get from that call, because it's going to be exceptionally interesting. Well, I don't think anyone's tuned into a Magna Q1 call.
Not around here. That's for damn sure.
But I think this will be an interesting time. And again, but they have been fairly positive in terms of what they've been doing, and they've continued their normal course issuer bid.
Linamar, the next one here, LNR. Again, if anyone's just joining, auto parts as a whole in focus here, and I think it will be until we get some sort of clarity on this space.
Yeah, their sales were up to $10.5 billion for the year. The stock is trading. It's a $3 billion market cap company, but down 11% year to date. And again, you don't get these swings with these large cap companies. Now, they are involved more on the equipment side, on the auto side, as well as agriculture equipment, construction equipment. So they have a little bit of touch points into other places. But yeah, a stock that's gone between $43 and $73 this year, trading around 50, so just about 15% off its 52-week low. So again, there could be some opportunities for companies depending on which way the tailwinds go politically.
Right.
And then this is again another company that has continued to continue its normal course issuer bid.
And the thought being, again, at the end of the day yesterday, we were hearing the reprieve term, or the loosening, or they want to support these companies to further growth and add more jobs and the investment to come in for the manufacturing side. So maybe as you're mentioning here, there's something at a price level that looks a little interesting. Tell us about MRE here.
Same thing. They are but they're more into Martin Ray parts. They do modules. They do fuel systems for cars. A stock that is a larger cap stock or a mid cap stock, down 20% year to date is something you want to look at. $530 million company, so it's in the mid cap space for, I guess, us here in Canada. But a stock that's between $6 and $12 on its 52-week and trading at about $7.75. So it's 20% off its 52-week lows, down 20% on the year. So you might want to look at opportunities. And I think what's going to be really interesting for these companies is with Canada just electing its new prime minister. Will there be opportunities? Like, will we go on defense, and will we try and find other opportunities? What's Calgary saying about this, because they have an oil and gas focused economy. Yeah. How are things going to go there? Is the prime minister going to say we as Canadians now need to look at these other markets where we do business and not quintessentially just focus on the U.S.? So that's why these names could be interesting in that play.
There wasn't a lot of detail in that note, but this new government going to focus specifically a lot more, as you said, on a few different areas. Energy and infrastructure, which is something you and I have spoken about many times.
Many times, yeah.
And also critical minerals. Again, not a lot of details on the how and the where and the when, but maybe a chat for another day that we can look into opportunities on that.
Yeah, that's called teeing it up, I think, right?
Yeah, a professional tease. Great stuff. I mean, it's still early days as far as the auto industry is concerned. There's a lot more focus on this side of the border, on the parts side of the equation. From a sentiment standpoint, maybe this gets a little bit more positive if this does actually happen.
I don't disagree. I think part of where we are right now as the Canadian economy is, again, there is the resilience on the U.S., which is never going to change. But will it start to marginally be affected by decisions and by things that are coming out? Yeah. Will a company say, I'm going to move 4% of my production to that country, or I'm going to look at sales opportunities in places like India and into China, into other places. Like India has now become almost, it's becoming more in vogue, and there's a lot of money going that way. Yeah. Into emerging markets, because money is coming out of the U.S. market. So what other places will it look to go to? And Canada could be a place. That could be
Apple, one of those. Interesting. As always, Rahim Alani, Managing Director over at OCI Groups. Thanks for this.
Anytime.
Thank you very much to Rahim. And it's all, when you talk about the auto parts, it's all about the uncertainty. Like, that's what it comes down to. Companies, they like to have a decent idea of the environment they're going to be in so they can plan, and the timeline for any of these changes is just so up in the air. Like, I was just looking at the VIX, actually. Speaking about uncertainty, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Like, we're only at 26, and we didn't really break out any of the recent tops here. That's what would get me a little bit more concerned, right? Like, I think, look, if I start seeing the VIX breaking out the prior day high or prior resistance here, like, I think like the 27 would be a big level. And here 30 gets you a little bit, over 30 you start to get a little bit more concerned. So you're not completely out of pocket right now in terms of volatility index. And it's not like that's the only thing you can look at. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want anyone to think that, hey, it's the correlation that it used to be, or we're not going to go any further because the VIX didn't get to 30. But yeah, you just got to be a little bit cautious looking at that. I feel like if we get to a resistance spot and reverse, that could be a nice little bounce spot for the market. I was just watching Tesla. Tesla's holding at yesterday's lows as well. So you've managed to get down to 280, and things are starting to try to calm down. It's an important leg here because after the initial shock that we had, it's easy to say, but I feel like some stocks are at points where either we or they're just going to lose the bid, and some people are going to get stopped and trailed out that have been taking these longs recently. Because there's longs in here that possibly have been holding for breaks and are possibly getting out. If you break a level like that 280 off the open, that's the kind of thing that can trigger some stops for people that are probably in the money off these recent lows.
Yeah, Neil and I were talking earlier about Bitcoin and like the sort of the strength, and thank you, Josh, for asking us about this there in the chat. And it's actually holding up quite well. I mean, you just did get that little bit of a dump down. I'm not sure how much GDP is going to really affect Bitcoin here. But yeah, you know, we've seen the correlation with the NASDAQ and BTC. This is just a 15-minute chart. Pretty choppy, right? I mean, even if you just go, it's only 15 minutes. So this goes back to the 28th, which is 2 days ago, which is that bottom of 93,000. Bitcoin's just been up and down, right? So for you, Josh, or for anybody else looking at this, I still think you short in this area right there until it breaks. Like, I know that sounds so simple, but unless we break this 95.6, 95.5 area, there's a lot of room. And if we zoom this back in, there's a lot of room to the downside, right? Like, I'm worried about that support at 93. So I'm not too worried about the resistance up here because we have our out, right? If the market does turn around and Bitcoin gets going again, we have 96,000. That's fine. But if the market, which the NASDAQ is really falling out right now, like Nvidia is down to 104.50, 104.75, and the NASDAQ's down almost 2%, over 2%. So, you know, if Bitcoin seems to want to follow, then even to lose 1% on 95,000, you know, that puts us down to 94 and change. And then you start to get going and then testing this 93. So for me, I am not a dip buyer in Bitcoin. I'm more selling the rips. And it has nothing to do with where I think Bitcoin's going. I already said, I think Joe asked Sharif yesterday, or the other way around, you know, does Bitcoin get over 100,000 by next Friday? I kind of turned to Neil. I said, I think it gets there this Friday. Like, I really do like crypto.
Strong.
And I think how strong it is in this market turbulence seems to be pretty good. But remember, the market's had a nice move up. We are now positive for the month. I guess I have to look at that after what we're experiencing right now. But on a daily chart for BTC, you know, I mean, it hasn't been like, that's pretty healthy. You know, a nice hold, nice sort of consolidation here, you know, building of inventory, then the pop higher. So some positions being built, now goes the pop. We'll see if, and I do think that we sell something when we get to this 105 area, but, you know, Bitcoin really holding out strong. So I would say if there's any strength, you guys want to ask about IBIT and all that stuff, I think that's, I put on my sticky note that I want to buy Robinhood on dips, but I do think that, and again, that's ahead of earnings, so that's going to be a little risky, nice. But I do think IBIT right now trying to hold out. There's the NASDAQ down 2%. IBIT, although I know it's not a continuous contract, it's only down 1%. So let's see if it can continue to hold. I'm not going to look at any of the altcoins or anything right now. We'll do that as the market starts to go because we need to get going on this watch list. So, all right. Maybe SMCI, maybe Nvidia. There's lots to talk about here.
Definitely SMCI.
Yeah, let's throw it back to the desk. We want to thank our good friends from OCI, Mr. Rahim Alani, for making it in here this morning.
If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab the watch list. It's absolutely free. Ms. Adair works on that every single morning for you and sends it out before we come on at 8:30. Has everything you need to know in one nice, neat package delivered right to your inbox. Check the link down below in the description. We just hit 20% here, wow, on SMCI, and it's continuing to melt to the downside here. I mean, there's nothing good about this. If you missed it after the close yesterday, this report a mess.
Well, basically here was a preliminary earnings report, and it was so funny too. I remember during the market recap, some people were saying in the chat, oh, are they supposed to report? I was thinking they're actually supposed to report next week, but these were preliminary earnings, as SMCI does enjoy giving us. Initially here, they were expecting for their fiscal Q3, which is their next quarter, they're expecting revenue between $5 to $6 billion and earnings between 46 and 62 cents per share. They actually here gave us preliminary reports of $4.5 billion to $4.6 billion and earnings of 29 to 31 cents per share. Both of those well below estimates and, as you just heard, well below their previously expected guide as well. So rough look here for Supermicro, basically at day's lows here and in a downtrend no matter what chart you look at.
Yeah, I mean, if you zoom out, there are some levels to maybe pay attention to here. We're way down here. This is a daily chart. We're way down here this morning. So you got to go back to beginning of April and then all the way back to February. We were kind of in the same area, 25 up to 30 guys for this one. Wow.
There's nothing good about SMCI. We're just chatting.
We're just talking hockey here. That's all.
Raheem.
You know, look, Canada. We don't have any SMCIs over here. We have Celestica. We have.
There was best laid plans for SMCI, and then there's what's going to happen. So you have to pay for locates here at Real Trading to go short, and they were cheap, which is fine because that's the direction that we're looking today. Forget about 31. I'm mildly forgetting about like into this like 30.5 area in the pre-market where we kind of thought that would be the spot. It'll be the same thing when I go over it. I guess we have Nvidia on there. We can get to AMD. I think just VWAP at this point. But if I'm considering trend down, then VWAP sits at 29.5. You had a decent shelf there. There was a recovery spot to 29.5, 29.60, and then this lower high in here at 29.70 as it makes a fresh low. Again, like every single tick is a fresh low. You are at like a local support level, and I know it's down 20%, but if we get to 26, which was a double bottom here on the daily, that becomes a reversion type. Let's look for a bounce play long. That's asking a lot. At that point, you're down 30% on SMCI, but if it gets down there, that would be the spot. Double bottom on the daily if it gets to 26. Otherwise, looking to short VWAP because 31 is so far away now that it's completely insane. This one felt bearish last night, and we were talking about how weak it was relative to the market and the resistance up here at 38. So don't tell me that somebody didn't catch a little bit of wind in this because the semis were all weak yesterday, relatively speaking. And it's like, why? And then and SMCI was the weakest of them all.
I know.
So no surprise here whatsoever that the prelim numbers come out bad when the price action was telling you they were expecting something bad.
Look, we wrote down here SMCI. The thing is that when we wrote it down, it was $30.25 was where VWAP was. So I just said horrid pre-release, getting worse this AM. VWAP will be watched for the entry. That's it. It's not, to me, it's not rocket science. And by the way, I did have that as HOLD. It's hood. You can always just check down here. There's only 4 names on here. 3 shorts and then the long. And I'm trying to be patient with that. We'll look everywhere, but I don't think it's, again, I don't think it's too rocket science that you want to be short this name. And we could bounce. You know, I just showed you that we are at levels or the NASDAQ that we've seen before that we've bounced off of. So there could be an early move higher. I am waiting for those imbalances to come through. But, you know, as Neil said, this market, it's never a fair market. And people get whisper of certain things. There was someone in the chat there, and I got to give you a shout out. I think it was Cactus Jack, said that he was watching Poly Market, and all of a sudden the odds of recession spiked yesterday, and it didn't really make any sense because there was no economic data. Then today we get this GDP warning coming out, and now we have PCE potentially. So someone made a bet that these numbers would be worse, whether or not they knew about them or not. I don't know. It could just be a bet, right? I mean, that's what happens in gambling. That's why Poly Market exists. But SMCI, like pop, fade, pop, 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 like drop. So for me, this is something to watch out. Right now, 29.50 is where VWAP is. So that's a short for me. That's basically it. Look at it, respect the 50-period moving average to the downside. I don't want to put any price targets on like, how low do we think SMCI could go? Because, oh man, we got to get that fixed. You know, you are at these levels. I mean, I know Neil just did this work, but it's just, I don't know if these hold. So I'm not going to try to buy dips. I just think that if you are short and you get this wick opportunity to cover at $26, I think there's something to be said to cover something around 26. I mean, that's exactly where this bottom's been on SMCI. So, you know, gap through that, hold. So if you want to dance with the devil, $26 is your mark, and that's a while from here. So you're going to have to be down another $2, get this thing down 30% before you eventually buy it. Crazy times here, but SMCI is a short. Let's go talk about Snapchat.
Not any better.
Hold on to day lows here, 15, 16% still to the downside here for Snapchat. I mean, right across the board, it wasn't great. The Q2 guidance, or lack thereof, as we were mentioning, the main problem here for Snap.
Yeah, not great here. They basically said they're not going to be issuing any guidance. They're concerned here about how these macroeconomic headwinds are going to impact their ad revenue. And they did say they actually have a decent start here to the current quarter. Some headwinds, though they do have some top line revenue continuing to grow. They expressed some headwinds to start the quarter, so they want to balance their level of investment with their realized revenue growth. Now, the actual numbers here, revenue, a slight beat, 1.36 billion versus 1.35 billion expected. Daily active users, slightly above expectations, 460 million versus 459 million expected. And their global average revenue per user, also stronger than expected, 2.96 versus 2.93. So the numbers for this quarter were actually pretty solid. It was more the lack of guidance going forward that I think concerns some traders and investors.
I would just keep my eye on this BCOR. I think they took over this symbol. But this is now Grayscale's Bitcoin Adopters ETF. BCOR, the holdings list, as you would imagine, MicroStrategy, Tesla, MELI, a random Japanese company, AKER, ARLP, and so on and so forth. Coin and block at the bottom there. So BCOR, guys, Grayscale's Bitcoin Adopters ETF.
Yeah, good look. I'm not even sure we have that yet in the database. But I want to get to some super chats here. Just a thank you to Alex Upshore, BMW here. What's your take on the volume with ABAT? ABAT, classic day two, no volume, very light volume for the downtrend. So they get, look at it. It gapped up and has been fading in on incredibly light volume. Most of the volume came in the overnight dump pools or dark pools. And Christopher Mulligan, yes, we can all see the super chat. I'm not reading it. Obviously, the Leafs lost to the Senators yesterday. I think when you look at that ABAT around 130, you look for it to settle down somewhere. I think that's when anytime you have a day two, if you want to see some continuation, you need volume to pick up, but 130 looks like some kind of a level there. I'm not that interested because of the lack of volume. Snapchat is not changing. Not much is going to change here. You've got $7.50 and you've got $7 and you're down 16%. I think a lot of the reason, as we said, Meta's tonight, right? So there's a lot of, hey, if it's not that bad, it doesn't matter. People want to take some risk off because if Meta is even a sniff of bad, these guys are in the dump. And that's the same thing with Pinterest. So there's a lot of probably risk off coming for Snapchat. I'm looking for a reversion bounce play off one of the even dollar levels. You got a 52-week low just above $7, and then you have $7.50, seems really, really tight in here, but that's the other level. If it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. That's kind of the rule when a stock is down 10% or more than 10%. It's only mean reversion longs off one of those even dollar levels on Snapchat. If there's a pop and fade, I'm doing it in SMCI anyway, so there's no point trying to double that up with Snap.
Just actually setting my orders up right now for Nvidia and all that stuff. Yeah, so, all right, maybe a little bit early. We need to wait for these imbalances to come out. Maybe I should cancel them. Yeah, I'm going to cancel them. I'm going to wait for the imbalances. Okay, so, yeah, I already read the numbers for you, right? They beat on the top. They beat on the bottom line. It was a good quarter last quarter, but no guidance, not looking great here moving forward. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in the conference call, but this name just keeps getting beat up. It almost seems like every earnings call, it's like just to the downside. If this wasn't a good sign right here that we had triple tops or quadruple tops, 1, 2, 3, 4 up here at $13. Since then whoops, I'm still on the line. Since then we have not gotten going. So yeah, Snapchat, just a 50-period moving average right now, is the bearer of bad news because you are not going to be turning up anytime soon. This name, shout out to Brian Shannon, this name continues to be in the penalty box until you get above the 50-period moving average or until at least it starts to slope higher. There's nothing to do with Snapchat. That level right here, we just, remember I was hesitant to call it a buy. You are at pretty much, I was going to say generational lows, but let me just call this up here for Snapchat. It hasn't been around that long. Of a stock, but here we go. If we go over to let's do a monthly to see. I don't know if this will give us any information. Yeah, so it gives us enough. So I was just gonna say these bottoms that we're at right now, we've only spent since 2017 when this thing IPO'd, which is unbelievable, 8 years. I didn't think it was actually even that long, but we've only spent 2 months underneath where we are right now. So, if you like the stock, you buy the stock. I don't know if any companies want to buy Snapchat right now, but that would be the play. Looking at these lows coming in here, $5-6 goes back to 2019. Spent 2 months of its whole 8-year life underneath where we are today. So it's not great. It's actually pretty ugly. So I just worry about Snapchat here. This is what it looks like on the daily chart. And you could see it's really respected this for a while, back to 2022. So this is why I was about to say that B word of buy, but you're getting close, man. 750 is a spot. So if you want to take a shot, that's the spot. Starbucks time.
76 coming into play here for Starbucks. If you missed it after the close yesterday, there was an attempt to get back to positive. That quickly rolled over when the call started. So tell us the details here, Ms. Adara, because this is pretty ugly today.
So are the numbers, to be quite honest with you here. So they reported earnings of 41 cents per share, well below estimates of 49 cents per share. Revenue, $8.76 billion versus $8.82 billion expected. And actually here, their net income attributable to the company was actually halved on a year-over-year basis. So last year, it was 68 cents per share. This year, 34 cents per share. But not to worry, CEO Brian Nichols said that the company, with its turnaround process, should not at all be judged on earnings per share. He does not think that's at all an accurate measure of their progress. Said he's still committed to the back to Starbucks. And it is worth noting here, we had comparable sales down here, comparable transactions down, and there was a slight uptick in the average ticket price. So take of that what you will, but SBUX continuing to consolidate very much at the low end of the day.
This is now Q3, I want to say, for Brian Nichols?
That is correct.
Maybe, yeah, okay. So going into the fourth quarter, at some point he has to do something that, reverses this trend of negative quarters, obviously. But thoughts, guys? Is he still in the good books for now anyways?
Well, usually it's too early for a turnaround like they're actually doing fundamentally to judge it, I suppose. But it's certainly given up everything that was gained when Nickel came in. Although I venture to say you break this 76, the one that you just pointed out, this is obviously down 10% as well, like Snapchat or like all the other earnings names that are down double digits. 72 is the double, triple bottom out here, like 71 and a half, 72. So we test that. I think there's your shot for some kind of an SSR bounce. I just sort of feel, I would be favoring the short play in the general sense here, but you can't, when you're down this far and you have this kind of heavy tape, it's not like you can sit there and be like, look at these 5-6 names that I want to catch a bounce on to try to fade. Because what ends up happening is if you get a big, strong push up, you could just get run over 5 times. So this is not the one. I think it's a patience game for me. Ideally, I think if you test that 72, it comes in there and tries to settle down, maybe work a long off VWAP that gets you to VWAP in there for Starbucks. I still think this can get turned around, but part of the problem that doesn't maybe even get talked about enough, in addition to everything that was already going on, and obviously, people talk about supply costs, cost of coffee going up, everything going up. It's also the sentiment too. Like, outside of the US, are people going to Starbucks or going somewhere locally while all this is playing out? That can weigh on them for a quarter or two as well. So margins are going down. There's just nothing really good and fundamentally in the numbers. I think I'd wait till 72 for a test of that level. Maybe give it the 3-day rule to see if 76 holds, but at least a test of this 52-week low seems in play.
Yeah, there's not much to say there about Starbucks. I mean, you want to talk about giving Brian Nichols a chance. The guy's making $600 million. So, that was a big CEO package that they laid on that guy. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. So if you believe in the recovery and what he's doing, it is a buy down here. I probably will buy some Starbucks today down in this level, especially if we get to, I'd like it a little lower if you can get $2 better. 74, I think, is a decent spot right down into here for Starbucks. Like I said, if you believe in the turnaround, we've seen Chipotle absolutely, move higher during its initial run with Brian. And now we'll just wait to see. Again, they missed everywhere. So it's not even like it's a sandbag quarter. They missed on the top and the bottom line. They also increased prices. Like when you increase prices and still miss, that's not good. And then I was telling you about sort of how the whole Canada first mentality around here, Starbucks is not getting as much love in these parts for sure that it used to. People are flocking to more local coffee shops and everything like that because there is that sort of pushback, right? And if it's happening here, I don't know if it's happening elsewhere. I don't know what the lines are like in the United States, but I think it's just a channel check situation. If you like Starbucks, go over to Starbucks, figure out, are there people waiting in line? What's it like in there? Just have another look and do a channel check, right? We've seen names like McDonald's. Everything's pulling back, but a name like McDonald's is near its highs, and I mean, they've done that with, again, lowering some prices, and still giving a little bit of that value meal, right? And I just think that that's helped them. Meanwhile, Starbucks is going the other way. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening. There's better investments right now than Starbucks, but if you're buying, beat up companies down there at $74 for this iconic American franchise, I mean, what if China does turn around? I think Starbucks does get some of those tailwinds, but today, hard to support it. Hey, man, I said it would be 11%. I just thought there'd be a plus sign in front of it. So close to being right.
Well, it was close.
Except for 22% wrong, essentially. Wow. Up 11% to down 10. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't.
The economic numbers definitely skewed some of the.
If there is a global recession coming, I mean, I'm not trying to buy any of these names. It's not. There's the imbalances coming out right now. Nvidia does get spiked a little bit with a bid. Snapchat with a sell. There is not much on here. I actually thought, guys, Brendan and Adair, we got to go. We're going to talk about Nvidia, but I thought there'd be more interest right now. Apple with a buy, so look out easy. Little bit of good news. This thing shoots up like 70 cents. Unbelievable action right there for Apple. And Nvidia is trying to get back to the 50-period moving average. It's still a sell in my opinion. Let's go find out what they think on the desk from Nvidia.
Yeah, something called Seaport Global initiating coverage here on Nvidia with a sell rating. Say it ain't so. $100 price target there. That's pretty ugly for Nvidia this morning. 4% already to the downside. I mean, we're almost there already, like 104.5 right now. Also, just because we're 10 on time here, First Solar, I was just counting up all the negative analyst looks here this morning. There's quite a few of them coming off the back of FSLR's report that was equally terrible this morning.
First Solar not doing particularly well here. They're down 22% year to date. And a lot of this had to do with their concerns about tariffs. CEO Mark Widmar said that apparently the scale and depth of the tariffs introduced by the new administration posed a, quote, significant economic headwind that the company was just really not ready for. And they said that they've also introduced significant challenges that were not known at the start of 2025. Just quickly here at Nvidia as well with that $100 price target and sell rating from Seaport. Interestingly enough, Seaport basically said, we know Nvidia is a huge name in the AI space, but it's because of that, a lot of the excitement around it's priced in. There's not a lot to go from here. So, yeah, interesting note here from Seaport on NVDA.
This was that, you guys were just talking about that recession thought. This was that, it's kind of hard to see, but this was on Kalshi, 74%. You can see the move that happened just after that GDP print this morning. So, according to Kalshi anyways, the betting market's saying 74%, guys, for a recession now.
And the chips and semiconductor space in general, data centers, that's all cyclical stuff. Bad for SMCI, which we've already talked about. Nvidia, no different of a story. They've been penalty boxed for a bit. It wasn't that strong yesterday. That being said, it wasn't the worst chip name. I like AMD. Look, I'm going to talk about AMD in a second, but it's going to be a similar pattern. Like oftentimes when you're looking for shorts off resistance areas and then we start breaking down, you want the continuation off that top. Well, all you have left is support turning into resistance and resistance turning into support. Well, 106, that's why I think Sean was probably looking at 106, pull back into the prior low. That's my thought for a continuation play. And for AMD, that's why, I mean, you're $1.50 away from this level, but as long as it gets into, we get back into 94 to 94.3, that's where I would play the first short on advanced micro devices. The only reason I had AMD short over Nvidia short was how clean the top was on AMD, but none of that matters now that we've essentially flushed. So looking into prior support, we got the big bounce on Monday at 94.3 for this particular name. Want to be short. This chip name, SMCI as well. So those are the first two I'm looking at. First Solar, not really paying too much attention to it. My only interest in these was when we start getting good news out of them. They're in the like okay, show me when we have the big update, show me when rates are coming down, show me when one of them after earnings does something positive. And at that point, I'd be interested in looking for some longs in TAN, but otherwise let them drop like they've been doing for quite some time.
Yeah, same thoughts, man. Only with 1 minute left. I'm already layered in, which is a short, so all the way up to 106.50 for me on Nvidia. I mean, that's where the 200 period moving average is. If by some way Nvidia wants to get back up there, then I'm going to lose a lot of money. So it is what it is. I'm going to wait to see what happens right there with Nvidia. So right now I'm also offering, and we don't have to get. I do want to get involved right away because I do think if there's a spike, I want to get short. So I'm fine being involved with this. The NASDAQ is more interesting at the VWAP right here at 52.60, 52.50. So that could be something that comes into play almost immediately. So we'll wait to see if that can get hit right now. Netflix could maybe be bought on weakness as well, as they just took out 52-week highs yesterday or the day before. So yeah, lots of names to play with here today, and it should be a good one. So there's Adara. What's up, Adara? 6.5, and this opening is brought to you by VinFast. Make sure you go check them out. VFS. I actually saw an orange. I think it was an orange. I don't know if it was a VF8 or I don't know the models off by heart how they look, but I did see a nice orange one in the market the other day. Yeah, it looked actually really nice. Actually, it was a. I don't normally like those random kind of colors, but that looked nice. All right, so Apple, nice move up for Apple. We just saw that climb to those highs, and at least look at the 50 period moving average. Sorry, the 200 period moving average. Now making that move back down. So boo-hoo, Apple would have been a good short. Let's check out Nvidia. Nvidia opening right where it's right where it opened. Of course, we're only 30 seconds in, but a little bit of up and down movement there. It looks like it did get washed down to 104. So hey, temporary bottom, right? I mean, if you're looking to do something, that might give you that bottom. 104. If you're taking long Nvidia, bottom right now, 104. Yeah, okay. Tesla, Snapchat, also. Adara already.
Amazon tanking.
Okay, maybe that's something to do with Adara. What's up, Adara?
Right now here, I just want to talk quickly about Paramount Global. PARA on watch. Donald Trump released a very, very long Truth Social post right before the open, talking about a case that, quote unquote, we have against 60 Minutes, CBS, and Paramount, calling it a winner. Again, by we, I'm guessing he means he and his team, but basically he's accusing of 60 Minutes and I guess the related parties, CBS and Paramount, of, quote, perpetrating a giant fraud against the American people, the Federal Elections Commission, and the Federal Communication System related to their airing of a Kamala Harris interview with 60 Minutes. So just be aware here, PARA dropping a little bit on that. He does not mention any specifics with regards to the suit, but he's just saying that they have a strong case against these entities. Back to you.
All right, thanks. Yeah, so here we go. The market is open. 104.50 coming into play one more time here for Nvidia. It's bouncing around right now. I'm wondering about Apple at this high. You just mentioned Tesla. I don't know if you want to look at that.
No, it's Amazon. Look, Tesla's down through like 278, but Amazon had one of the heaviest drops right at the open, right into $180 even. Just bear with me for a quick little second. 179. Kind of a big level here on AMZN. Didn't think that was going to come into play that quickly. Whoa, SMCI. This open is insane. SMCI was just chilling at 29 even.
Was it? Was it doing?
Yeah, look at this is.
That's 29.15.
No, it was. I looked over. I was checking Amazon. We were actually breaking down underneath 29. Then you're testing VWAP. Yeah, the bid is coming in here on SMCI. I gotta get my stop above 60 on that bad boy. See if I can't get more. Only if we close underneath that 60 level. So SSR bounce is definitely happening here on SMCI. We just got a VWAP fill. Snapchat bouncing as well. Snapchat bounced off 750, huge. And I still have that eyeball. I think maybe there's a good bottom there on Amazon. I don't want to be long, but that's a big level, Amazon.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go short under 105 here, but that's not really the plan. Oops, sorry, I'm on Nvidia. This is not really the plan, Stan, for this, but we're just going to go a little short here if we can. I'm waiting at 105, so if we can get that, that'd be fine. Just a little quick short as we have made our way up to VWAP again. And remember, this name, I'm at 99. There it is. So now we're short. It's made its way back to VWAP, so we just want to make sure that, hey, the market could bounce from here, right? We have PCE coming at 10 o'clock. Maybe that's a better number. I don't know what the whisper is for that right now. But here we go. We got one unit on now on Nvidia. Good to see Sharif in the building right here again. Welcome back, my guy. Hopefully he'll bring some good news. I don't know. I mean, right now the market is making that drop down in. So we'll go, oh my God, we have our first position on right now, and it's not bad. Not bad at all. Sorry, I didn't get one full unit, my bad. But we did take a little piece out there in at about 3/4 of a unit. I'm still waiting for 105.50 to come into play here for Nvidia, and then we'll see what happens after that. But 105.50 looking to get shorter in that area.
Yeah, I just picked up AMD, but they just did, like, the SMCI, going to have to wait for this one to calm down a little bit, I think.
Market's bouncing a bit here.
Because the market is coming back, and it's flying around. Like, it just retested under 29 and is right back to the 29.5 level. So the buyers are coming in sort of hot and heavy. I know we were talking a little bit about Tesla. Well, it was Amazon mostly, but Amazon's bouncing. Tesla holding underneath 278 and those lows. So this is under a tremendous amount of pressure. The market's about to break after a green on the NASDAQ here. We just had a green candle off the open,
crazy.
and you're trying to break this next one up. VWAP isn't till 100 and, how many points is that? 150 points we get to the volume weighted average price. So anything shorting pops, got to be a little bit careful here because there's so much room for us to continue to go higher. Like, I like 94.3 on AMD. I don't know if I want to be adding too heavily above VWAP to short this bad boy. So just be careful. You're getting a nice little relief rally, but that data was so bad that I'm thinking short until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I am short. I'm adding to the short right now for Nvidia. So yeah, for me, the play remains the same. The playbook is the same, short. I'm going to try to get Apple up here just because it's where it's wicked to the high side. I'm going to try this 209.75. If it does come up there, I'm going to try a short against 210. If it breaks 210, we're gone. Pretty simple trade there. We've talked about the over-under on Apple in and around that level. Let's check out what Chef Joe may be buying in Chef Joe Capital there. Some Snapchat. We already talked about how that bottom might be 750. Well, it was 760, so that came into play, and there goes the move higher there on Snapchat. Like I said, missed everywhere, so this is not a great company to be invested in right now. Losing money. We'll see what winds up happening with Snapchat. No, sorry, they beat everywhere. It wasn't the guide. My bad. The guide was right. They beat better than expected, and then no guide. They dropped the guidance, so we'll have to wait to see what winds up happening there. So. We almost got 105.50. Yeah, Neil. 105.50 right there. We almost got it for NVDA right now.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, that's going to be hilarious what winds up happening with that. Now, NVIDIA, we did put a bid down there a little low, but here we go. Maybe the market does start to pick it up. I don't know. You're on AMD. I want to look at SMCI quickly. Neil had mentioned that 29 looks like it hold spot, and it did. So now you got to wait for 28.70, that break lower on the day. I think that's going to be in play there for SMCI, a break below that level. I'm going to put that trade in, but remember, I'm not going to be able to get it off that. It's going to be as SSR. So to punch that level is going to be tricky. You might have to cross lower and hope that you get picked up in sort of the melee there. But yeah, so far just one trade. I think we've done pretty good holding on and waiting for setups. So NVIDIA, we already got it once up here. We're going to see if we can get it again up at 105.50. That's sort of my main area of concern right now. And if we get that, then we'll sit there and we'll watch out for 106. There's 106 in Park, 106.50, the 200 period, which is where we can get out of it if there's a problem.
NASDAQ just went 2% and is breaking the lows or attempting to break the lows. I just grabbed some out here on AMD at 92.9. The low is 92.5. I'm still going to try to short back into VWAP, the 93.5 area, but I didn't get any fills above the volume weighted average price on AMD. Like, everything was at or underneath it. So if we bounce back, I might have to move down to a better price, or I guess a worse price. It would be a lower price if we get a pop. So still looking to play those shorts. Starbucks is the one. If you're looking for something that was bouncing nicely, look at the rejection of 76. Remember Brendan said 76 on the daily Starbucks. First spot, well, there's your reversal candle. If it can hold opening range over 76, you probably have a rebound play in there. Oh, goodness, Tesla. Tesla just took another leg to the downside. The shorts, it's one of these mornings, everybody. That data wasn't good. Tesla now 6% to the downside. Amazon still 3.5%. I believe you were looking at Apple as well.
We just missed it.
Apple was very strong off the open, and now that's lost a couple of bucks here off the top. So, yeah, it's looking pretty nasty. I'm only in AMD right now. It's like, what else can we even be short? Snapchat? Snapchat? Yeah, Snapchat at $8. Wow, look at Snapchat. Right to $8 exactly. You could have just shorted $7.98 with a 3-cent stop on Snapchat.
I'm kind of feeling some kind of ways here because the market is like some of these chip names, Neil and I are both in them, and I think there's a reason why we're both in them is because they're not actually tanking. It's giving us opportunities to buy levels or sell levels that we like. It's a little dangerous, I think. Considering what the NASDAQ is doing right here, why are we holding up so well in the chip space? So I'm still layering into this. I actually have now a unit and a half. I've been averaging into this trade again. So we got our best price there. But we didn't have as many shares there as I had hoped because it didn't quite get to 105.50. So I actually just punched in like half a unit there. If we got up there, that was 2 units sitting there. But then we just average it into VWAP. We average it in again. So, hey, we have more shares now. So if there is a move down, good for us. But we still need that move right now. I'm bidding in the 50s for Nvidia, hoping that we can get there. This might just be sort of I don't want to say a fake move down, but down 4%. I thought we'd be a lot more than that, considering what SMCI did, considering what the NASDAQ is doing right now. We did write down TQQ as a short, but we didn't take it. That would have been the right trade. I don't know why I'm sitting here in Nvidia when I'm not getting the feels that that's going to be the right trade. Look at the NASDAQ. I mean, we left this alone. That's the 50 period right there. We're really, really coming back in. And honestly, I can't get a win on Nvidia, so that sucks because we had looked at Apple, and I'm sitting there, man. I put a really good amount of shares up here, missed it, and then there it goes to the downside. We should have looked at Apple, was not, and that's part of it, right? Was not on the trade plan. So we miss up that one. It was TQs, SMCI, Nvidia, and then Hood. Let's see how bad Hood is getting. I had written down if this gets real bad, and again, ahead of earnings, we do like to see some Robinhood action down there near 45 bucks. It got to 46. So it's not like we were too far away from that. But if we do get down to $45 for Robinhood, I do like that as a buy zone for a potential long. There it goes. See, like Nvidia actually goes up there as the market cranked lower. So let's go find out what's going on with A.
Keep an eye on one earnings name that's actually holding up remarkably well this morning. It's Seagate Technology Holdings. And the volume on this isn't bad either, about 1.5 million shares traded so far this morning. They did actually report a double miss, did Seagate. Their guidance was mixed as well, but either way, investors enjoying this one, STX to the upside. I would like to remind everyone, huge economic data coming through at 10 a.m. That'll be PCE and core PCE. So be aware if you're holding anything into 10 a.m., pretty big economic number coming through that usually is reported pre-market. Back to you.
Well, we're dumping now.
Go! Like, what is going on right now? So frustrating because it's not actually dumping down. I don't know what AMD is doing.
AMD just broke the low of the day. It's at 92.4. Nice. SMCI just lost VWAP. Okay, I want to get back into SMCI if we can because we're cratering right now.
Here we go.
So we're breaking those lows. The NASDAQ just tagged 19.15. My goodness, Amazon. We've got to try to look at some other names for you guys, everybody. AMZN just broke 180, now down 4%. All right, SMCI just popped back up. I didn't want to chase it too far, but the local high is 29.70. That smells good, Sharif. 29.70, so we're into that short again on SMCI. Our best fills were in front of 29 because somebody's buying this thing up at 29 even on SMCI. Tesla's got a bottoming tail candle here. Maybe... Yeah, there's a big bottoming tail candle here on Tesla. I do have a trail on AMD that if it gets back above, it's like 92.8. I want to be able to get out of that one. But a bottoming tail candle for now on Tesla, although it's right back retesting these lows. So the only thing is getting back into SMCI short. The Q's still falling 2.5% and counting to the downside. Yeah, it's just a bleed. SMCI just took some out at 29.2. It's a very, very tight range here. This is actually trying to trend up. I would suppose this in Snapchat, it's just pure relief rally. Like they're not breaking the lows. So you want things that are weak? Well, the worst of them are catching a little bit of a bid here. I'd say SMCI a little bit more than Snapchat though.
Yeah, we're 50 cents in the money, so we'll ring in a little bit here for Nvidia. Like we do have a position on. It's not the biggest one because we did want a little bit higher than where we are right now. We wrote down 105.50 and it got to 105.40, and which is where we put on a little bit of shares there at 35, and then we've added to the position. The best out we have is just at 50, and now it's trying to go higher as the market's doing this. So it's really starting to get me a little bit going here. We may have to get away from Nvidia, although I don't want to. Netflix, we talked about this one. Again, being over 1,100 is absolutely unreal. I mean, what a great move upside for Netflix. Even that's coming back in a little bit. If there's going to be some strength, I think I would look over here for that. Palantir. Again, another great name that we know can rally if the market does find a bottom, but I don't think it's going to find a bottom. When I sat down here, we were down 0.8. today. Now we're down 2.5. So, I mean, just the fact that this is starting to get a little nasty and I can't even get Nvidia to go down means I need to look somewhere else. And that's right here, Palantir. Maybe if it breaks that 110 and we absolutely collapse. But down 4% right now. We talked about this. When the market's red, Palantir is redder. And right now, it is following that sort of path. So there go the cues. I mean, maybe we get a bounce rate here. You are right now at the 30-minute, 200 period moving average. So there could be a little bit of a buy zone here for the cues and for the market. So let's wait to see what winds up happening. I really feel like I have to get away from this Nvidia. It's just back up to 105 right now again. So there goes Nvidia. We are 15 minutes away from the PCE number. So we'll have to wait for that at 10 o'clock. Adara with some more news.
Some tariff-related comments coming through here from White House Trade Counselor Peter Navarro. He's saying that the markets need to, quote, look beneath the surface, and says that the Trump administration likes where they are with respect to China. So again, unclear where they are with respect to China. We know China has denied any talks that they've communicated, but Peter Navarro is saying the markets need to look below the surface and that the Trump administration is happy with where they are in regards to China talks. Again, 15 minutes till PCE. Back to you.
So I'm ringing the register there. I just got trailed out. I shouldn't say we, but I just got trailed out on the short in AMD. There's the trend down. It broke, bounced nicely off 91.5. You would have thought maybe you'd have a chance to get back into the volume-weighted average price, but even as it broke trend to trail out there, you're headed almost right back into those lows. SMCI is doing something a little bit different. Like we got it 29.5, and then it's retesting that double top. So this is not an ad to me at all. Like, I'm just going to connect these little dots until it's breaking down underneath these higher lows and breaking that trend. There's no ads up here on SMCI. This and Snapchat, Starbucks to a certain extent, all short sell restricted because they're over 10%. But you can see Snapchat going straight down as everything else is. SMCI trying to catch a little bit of a bid. I want to be back in AMD, but I'm not going to get in too early, either VWAP or I guess I can cancel those orders up at 93.5, or we can get to 93.5. That's always a chance we can get back there. But don't like the price action SMCI. It's definitely got a bit of a relief rally going on that one. So, we'll lose about a fifth of what we made on AMD going into SMCI twice. I don't need a third salvo unless this is at $31. For some reason they want to buy this one up. We'll let them do it. I still think it's going to fade at some point. I'm just going to be patient with it.
So yesterday we had Lutnick, today we have Navarro, we have everybody talking China, yet nobody knows what's going on. So why even open up and talk about it? It's absolutely ridiculous.
I like to hear the sound of their voice.
And it's just, the more I hear them say we're happy where we are with China, makes me think that they're absolutely nowhere with China. So let's just wait to see where they are indeed with China. If we say China more, then we can be like President Trump. And then eventually, if we keep talking about it, then maybe there'll be a deal somewhere. But I don't know, man. If bless you, Neil, for that one. I just I want to see actual physical something happening. We had talked yesterday about wanting to get Amazon in and around this level. It's at 180 right now. So here goes Amazon right now, breaking below this 180 marker, or attempting to anyways. It's bouncing off of it right now. We'll have to wait to see what happens right now with Amazon. Okay, so there it goes, man. The market did find that bottom. We showed you on the TQs. We do have another average right now on that, so we just took some more up there at 105.20s. It just bounced off of here a couple times. We are still watching this 200 period moving average. I just want to build into the position. I don't think things are getting better. I think they're getting worse. So 105.50, maybe that's just where we stop out. I wanted to give it a little bit more up into the 200 period moving average, but I'm going to sit there, take some more shares. If we ever do get to that 105.50, we'll add onto that position, and we'll add about double what we have right now. We'll increase that to 2 or 3 units, 3 units position, and then we'll wait to see what happens up here at 106. This is going to be my stop zone, right around here, 106.20s, something like that. If we're wrong, we're wrong, and then we'll just let it sort of, moon a little bit, and then we'll figure it out from there, because we sensed that this was off in the beginning, right? And so, don't tell me, I'm actually at 105.50. Thought we wouldn't have to worry about the exact price, but it looks like we just bounced off of it, and I did not get filled. Here we go. Give it. What am I even sitting on right now? ARCA. Okay, so we did not get it there. Sorry, I'm on NASDAQ. I'm going to switch over and just take it right now. It doesn't really matter. We'll get a 48. Don't tell me I missed that. Give me that 48 right now. This is the price that we want, so whether or not we take a couple pennies or not, we just bounced off 48 again. That's hilarious. I don't really want to cross down too much because, I don't want to take both of these trades. Oh, my God, we just missed that? Oh, man, that's unbelievable. All right, we just get 105.40s right there. Hopefully we can get a little bit more, but wow, that's funny that we just missed that by a hair. All right, well, here it comes right back up. Now give me the 48. Okay, now we got the 48. All right, what's up, Adara, as we watch Nvidia?
NASDAQ here, trying to bounce a little bit. Peter Navarro, who is the U.S. trade advisor or counselor, still talking here. He's saying that the best way to negotiate with China is, quote, very quietly. He also said that the GDP was dragged down, and that will not be the case next quarter. It's worth noting that Donald Trump has already said his administration is not responsible for this GDP. So Trump administration continuing to say the GDP will be improving. And again, Navarro saying that it's good that they have to negotiate with China very quietly because that's the best way to do it. Back to you.
Well, okay.
Well, when they're not answering the phone, you have no choice but to be quiet about it.
Yeah.
What is Navarro just talking to himself?
Well, with two strong-willed, when both are strong-willed, sometimes it is, I guess it would be best. But just a couple of things here quickly. We trended out of AMD, but IBIT trended all the way down to, it actually broke, we broke 94, we're at 93.5, it bounced 93.5, broke the trend line, took a breakout trade, giving it to this prior bar. For a mean reversion. I just wanted to explain it because I'm like, yeah, it's already headed right back into the downside. So the only thing that's worked already was very clean on AMD. But look at that trend reversal on AMD. That's back above the volume-weighted average price and at 93. Yeah, I think I'll wait until we retest the high on this one. That's just, we just bounced like $1.50 off the bottom. When I see Tesla at the low of the day,
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
I see Amazon at the low of the day, the NASDAQ still relatively at the low of the day. So that's a heavy bounce that just happened in AMD. A little bit surprising at this point to me. So we just wait, see it retest that high. If 93.5 is still a good zone, then we'll work towards it. Snapchat is holding these lows very, very well. So I do like Snapchat. I said 750 for an SSR bounce play. But that just broke trend, holding the absolute low of the day. It's only a couple of cents worth of risk. So I probably jump into this one, only giving it a couple of pennies. I think the 7 level will be much better than this. So I think I would not want to have as much on the long here. Because this market's still very, very weak. I don't know what was going up with the chips there, but the market overall is plenty weak.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're huge, though, in this short right now. So we're okay with this. We're not giving up on what we're trying to do, man. Never going to give you up. Never going to make you cry?
Never going to let you down.
Right. There we go, Adair singing.
No, never gonna
what have I done? Oh, man, I should not have done this. Okay, but we're not going to give up our position here on Nvidia. We're covering it at VWAP right now, down to the downside, 105.10. Coming through. No, Derek, keep singing, man. It's better than singing this news to us, that is for sure. All right, here we go, man. 105.30, we just covered some down there at 105 flat, well, 105.15, then we got 105.05s for Nvidia. We do have a good position on. We're about 3 or 4 units in. TikTok is planning a data center in Finland. We can't trade that or anything like that, and it's not doing anything, but that's something that I'm hearing in my ear right now. TikTok building more data centers in Finland, apparently. So apparently climate, carbon-free power being talked about there. So long on the Finland ETF. I guess, if you have any idea what that is. All right, let's go. Maybe we have a big trade on our hands right here with NVDA. 1 day's daily goal met, but we have much more in sight than that. What's up, Adara?
Yeah, it looks like the Trump administration is never going to give up talking about Apple with regards to their trade plans. When I say talking about, We had yesterday, we had Lutnick, Howard Lutnick, who was the U.S. Commerce Secretary, invoking Apple in his comments. Now Peter Navarro does the same thing. He says that it's very doable for Apple to move their manufacturing to the U.S. Yesterday, Lutnick claimed that Apple CEO Tim Cook actually really wants to move Apple manufacturing to the U.S. for their iPhones, but that he wants there to be manufacturing robots. So again, Tim Cook has not commented on either of these claims, but worth noting here, this is the second time in less than 24 hours that this administration has talked about Apple with regards to their plans. Furthermore, Peter Navarro, who is, again, Trump's trade advisor, calling the GDP print this morning the best negative GDP print he's ever seen. So more GDP and China and overall trade and production talks from Trump's trade team. Again, just about 6 minutes now until that heavily watched PCE print, often called the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. Back to you.
And
remember
how
PCE.
desperate are these guys?
The best print ever?
I don't know. I hope it's going to be a good print to the downside for, well, I mean, I hope PCE is a little bit higher because then the market will tank, I think. And we are short right now on Nvidia. You know, it's a bad thing when they're commenting on what they're saying other CEOs are saying, even though they're not saying it themselves publicly. So it's like, that's
what we've gotten to now.
Right. Like, how is that going to be good for the relationship with Tim Cook and you know, the administration when they're talking like that, basically, out in public. So let's just wait to see. I would love for manufacturing to come back to the U.S. And I think that robots, obviously, and this is what Trump's trying to do, bring everything back. So there's just bumps in the road right now. I do agree with some of those things. If you can get it, you know, robots instead of China making them, we can make them right here. I think that helps. Obviously, it's going to hurt a little bit on the price of the iPhones, but these are sacrifices that President Trump has explained, you know. It's probably Biden's fault anyways. So let's just wait to see what winds up happening now as we continue to get a little more out of Nvidia. But as we've been talking, I am worried right now that it's not moving as aggressively to the downside, such as the market or other names like a Snapchat, Amazon, as Neil's been talking about, Tesla, so on and so forth. So yeah, you could blame Obama. That might be. I mean, I can't wait. You know, it could be.
Look, man, just
maybe
do like
this is still Reagan.
Just do South Park and blame Canada.
Yeah, well, I think he already done that.
Okay, too late.
Yeah.
No,
you know, our dairy tariffs are just unbelievable.
Blame Reagan. They are, but look, Snapchat. The only good thing about it is it's holding the low of the day, so that's why I'm long in here. I actually want to add. I was saying the actual pre-market low at like 760. There's this wick underneath here at like 565. I'm getting out right underneath this bottom. Like if it breaks, it's now held 761 at the open and on a dime. So you break that, and I'm going to be out of that.
Yep.
Like a hot knife through butter. Don't even want to mess around with it. I'm back into AMD. Why? Market's weak. It didn't get all the way to the top here at 93.7, but it did crest at 93.25. I tried to get some here at like 93.13. Was able to get some at 93 even-ish, but I think we're headed right back into the low of the day. I totally forgot all about Amazon. Never mind, it's not bouncing. Amazon just lost it again. Amazon 4% down. I could slap an ugly looking trend line, but you guys get the idea. Breaking low of the day on Amazon. Yeah, this market wants lower and lower and lower.
Go.
Back into AMD. It's absolutely, it's looking pretty nasty. I think we see 3% today.
Ooh, I like it.
Maybe you start thinking about where the bids can be at that point. Tesla has an outside chance of going SSR, which we've seen before. So if I see Tesla at 10%, you guys kind of know the drill. The 50 period, $7 from here, which is also SSR if it gets to the 50 period on the day. But yeah, markets in flush mode, everybody.
Yeah, everybody, we're just having some fun here, and you know, we got to do that on the show. It's not just it is a trading show, but we like to talk and have some good times here because trading is a lonely game. So those of you that are here, it's not about what side of the aisle you're on or anything like that. We're just looking at the market and having some fun. I mean, I would love for a deal to get announced or for some more concrete information to be released. That's all that I'm simply commenting on. It's not, has nothing to do with anything else other than that. So thanks for bearing with us. We do have over 10,000 of you watching right now. So I'm going to do something, and that is pretty simple, and that is ask for your likes. If you can get that, hit that like button. I'm actually 860 165 people have hit that so far here today. Let's see if we can get that going just a little bit more. It's a 11111. Look at that. 1,111 we just had right there. So thank you so much for watching. Let's get that going. Over 1,000 of you now hitting the like button. Remember, if you do hit the like button, both your long and your shorts will probably go into the money.
Same time.
Make sure potentially at the same time, you know. So hit the like button. 1.3K. Wow. We just got set 1.5K, 800 likes in 20 seconds. Wow. Let's see if we get to 2K right now. Come on, market. Come on down. You're the next contestant in. Who's going to make a trade deal right now? Will it be China? Will it be India? Will it be Neil? I mean, we could get phone calls really at any time. I mean, here it is. Will it be Joe? Joe, were you just on the phone with Trump, or where were you coming from right there? Right now, we're going to figure this all out. But at the end of the day, there's lots of stuff happening, and this man is in cash. We'll wait to see what happens with Uncle Warren and change. There it is, 2.1K. Thank you so much to everybody as I sit in, hopefully, the banger for me of the day. I'm done getting stopped out. I'm done going in and out of all of these trades. Let's see if we can hold this and get a good number right now for us. PCE, it's a nice move down. We're out of 1/3 of our position with all of those fills. Let's see if we can get lower and throw it over. You want to do something quickly? Because we do have numbers.
We got the numbers. Let's go right to the numbers. We'll come right back.
Okay, yeah.
This is a big one.
Yep, exactly.
I want to give us ample time to go over the expectations here because this PCE print at 10 a.m. could be a big one. We're expecting PCE year over year 2.2% versus 2.5% previous. PCE month over month, we're looking for 0% versus 0.3% previous. Core PCE year over year 2.6% versus 2.8% previous. And core PCE month over month 0.1% versus 0.4% previous. So just to be clear here, we're expecting a drop for all of these numbers from the previous print. Just 5 seconds now. We're also getting personal income, personal consumption, and pending home sales change. Pending home sales coming out first year, 6.1%, well above 1% previous. We had, I'm not seeing these PCE numbers coming out yet. Worth noting, we did have a Chicago PMI print at 945. Just seeing that populate as well, just waiting for this PCE to drop. Consumer spending month over month, a little bit above expectations, 0.7% versus 0.6% expected. Personal income, 0.5% versus 0.4% expected. I just got the PCE, 2.3% year over year versus 2.2% expected, so slightly higher on a year over year basis than we were looking for. Month over month, 0%, exactly in line with 0% expected. 2.65% coming in here for year-over-year core PCE versus 2.6 expected, and 0% coming in here for the month-over-month versus 0.1% expected. So the month-over-month on a core basis, lower than expected. Month-over-month non-core is flat. Then we have in line here for core PCE year-over-year, the year-over-year PCE print non-core a little bit hotter than expected. The market actually pushing higher after analyzing all of this data here, though still in its ongoing downtrend. Apple on watch, this name reporting tomorrow and continuing to get invoked in comments on trade from members of the Trump administration. Then we have SMCI bouncing really nicely here after releasing preliminary earnings yesterday, slashing its guidance across the board, receiving some negative analyst notes as well. Back to you.
All right, so
thank you very much, Adero. Yeah, well, SMCI.
No luck for me.
This is the one I'm staring this one down. We're back into, look, AMD off the 93 level, but if it takes out that quarter on this PCE, not so bad, then I think we'd be okay. But waiting for this triple trend, 1, 2, 3. You break the trend line under $30, and I go into SMCI. I said as long as it trended up, we'd have to get some kind of a reversion back into the downside. But the market's catching a bit of a bid here. We've had 2 green candles on the 15-minute. This would be the second one. So we have to weather that. If you're short, you have to weather that storm. 19.3, big level, but we can still put in a lower high. Let me just zoom it in so you can see. You can still put in that lower high here at 19.2. So I'm still favoring the shorts until proven otherwise. Once you start making higher highs and higher lows, it becomes a different story. For now, still looking pretty solid to the downside. 2.33%. I mean, Tesla bouncing off the lows like everything else. But the next trade for me is very likely going to be a break of this trend line down. I do have eyeballs in some small caps, or at least one that was WW, but there's so much moving around. I wanted PCE to come out before we settle down and maybe look at some of these small cap gappers. I knew it was going to do some volume. Right, get down SMCI. It's starting to break this 30. Once we close under this trend line, I'm jumping back into the short on SMCI, or SMCE as Adara likes to call it. Actually trending up, believe it or not.
Yeah, I can't win these days, man. I mean, that number comes, I mean, the pending home sales, what the hell was that? 6.1 pending home sales? That was an absolutely monster number. Thank you, Randy. I was just looking for that number again. Tesla down 7%, Randy. All right, so right now, there it was. Pending home sales, 6.1 versus 0.9? 6.1. Who's out there buying those homes, man?
That's
wow.
what I wanted.
Good job, whoever's buying homes right now. I don't know if these rates are low enough. And then US PCE can't be good enough for me. Prior 2.7, lower now 2.3. So market shoot up. I was waiting at 105.50 again, so I missed that, of course, for a little bit of a reload. But we're still fine. I mean, we're still short. We're short here at 105.09. 105.40. Someone asked me how much we got out. So we got out of a third. Then we got out of a few more as we threw over to Adara because we are already down here. So we still have about, let's say 60% of this trade, and I was looking to add more right there to it. So that's Nvidia. You know, the more they talk about Apple, the more that means they haven't talked to Apple. So I'd like to short it up here again at 209 if we can get into there. Neil's sort of covering some SMCI there.
It's all chips though.
Yeah, we did look, yeah, exactly. We did look at Snapchat a little bit. My board's not really flashing too much right now. If anything, maybe the futures underneath the 50-period moving average. Look at Starbucks. I mean, I was like, if you're going to take a shot, man, you're doing it against 75. We had pulled that back in and showed you some daily charts for Starbucks. And I was like, 75 is enough for me to get long. And we didn't do anything. I didn't have any pending bids today, thinking this market was cranking. But right there, 72 and change is the bottom. So a 75 is a nice spot right there. You got to, apparently there's breaking news. So let's go back over to Adara and find out what that is.
Keep an eye on Boeing here. Peter Navarro, who of course is Trump's trade advisor, says that I'm guessing the U.S. and the administration, need to have Boeing's back. He said that others are willing to buy Boeing jets that China won't take, which we already knew. But either way here, BA popping to the upside on the Trump administration, specifically trade advisor Peter Navarro, saying that they need to have the companies back. Back to you.
That's good. So
that's one of the reasons why you own Boeing.
Yeah, not
because you want the government. No, because you want the government to have your back.
Right.
I think that's...
No, they've supported Boeing. Like during COVID, they came in there. And
no, we're headed higher right now.
And Trump was even saying that, you know, they can't let Boeing fail and this and that. So I remember having a bid on Boeing down at 125. It's actually still there in my account, and I missed it. So, all right, let's get some more out here at 105. I mean, that is where VWAP is. I've only been in one trade today, and it's a banger. Like we're even if I exit right now, we've got our 1 day goal, but it doesn't really matter. I want to hold this to see what we do up here at 106. So this is coming back in, right? If 106 breaks, then I think we're going to get out of that trade, right? I mean, 105.50, 105.75. We don't want to be stuck like a deer in headlights, just hoping for one thing to happen and then getting run over when it doesn't. So, you know, we are starting to cover a little bit more. We understand that this is relatively strong right now against the market. The market is near lows, and Nvidia is like not really going down right now, but the market's trying to tick higher, so we'll watch out for that. I would hope that I'm seeing Uber on the scanners right now. So let me
WW is going to break $1.
Really? Okay. Well, that would be a good little look there. Yeah, there's Uber. Look at Uber, up 1%. No, that's down. Still down, but down 1% only today. Sort of a breath of fresh air considering what we've seen elsewhere. Yeah. Did you want to? Oh, well, I'll call up WW.
Well, I'll get there in a second. I'm going to get some out of AMD in front of VWAP, but I knew this was going to be. On a day where the market was weak, sometimes you got to pick the best squeeze name and go for it. It's been trending up since the bottom. If it breaks $1, I probably play like a false break of $1 pullback. I'm throwing that one up on another level too. Like the false break of $1 and then pull back into the volume weighted average price and see if we can't get picked up there. It's absolutely squeezing for sure. But SMCI, I think I broke the rule here. I'd swear I saw it close under the trend line, but it did not. It tested the trend line and I punched short. There isn't a closing on the 3-minute bar underneath the trend line, and it needs to be distinct if you're going against the grain. So I think that's a rule break for myself. I want to see the 3-minute close,
IPO.
And then we get it. You said there's an IPO?
Yeah, YB. Yankee Bravo, Adara. Let us know if there's anything on Yankee Bravo.
Weibo?
YB. No, YB.
Oh, YB. YB.
Uh-oh. This is a Chinese name that could go absolutely insane. This is Wanbao, Yuanbao, right there, Inc. Going to be potentially coming out. This could be another one of those ways that the Chinese government just absolutely crushes everybody again today, you know, on a random name that just comes with no float at all, YB right now. You may say, after all, why me? What's up with it, Dadadera?
So you never really know when these are going to open, but here's the info here on Wanbao. They priced the U.S. IPO at $15. That was in the high end of their range of 13 to 15, and they're offering 2 million American depository shares. So 2 million shares here, going to be definitely a smaller name, priced at $15. They raised 30 million through the IPO that is YB or Wanbao, and again, we do not know when they're going to open. Back to you.
2 million shares. They're not trying anymore.
Ready for HK
They're just
part 2.
bamboozling everybody. That is that kind of like HKD sort of vibe, like that kind of a thing. All right, WW, it's kind of slowing down a bit. The other way to play this, if it doesn't get to $1, I would look at the volume weighted average price. Like, it was a good long off of VWAP a little bit later in the session yesterday, so we had like 3 times long. I don't mind taking a few shots at this. So VWAP sits at about 90 cents. I think that's the first place I would look to pick that bad boy up. YB, I'm going to throw that up on a sidebar, but look at this. Like, AMD, I just got filled at VWAP at 93 even, and now it's breaking back out. I don't want to turn red on this thing, and the high of the day is at 93.8 or 93.75, where we got that initial short. So this market is definitely coming back in. Let it get back to the high. Didn't find any longs I'm in love with at this point, so just going to have to be patient. I don't think WW counts as like a long for the market bounce. This is just a small capper that wants to get back in the good graces above $1. So I want to see if it can hold VWAP or break out the $1 level here on WW. I do want to keep at least some tabs on Tesla. Obviously, it's not going down 10% if it doesn't break any fresh lows, but a higher low being put in pretty distinctly for Tesla. We know if this does the full rounded bottom and break, it can get pretty impressive the way it tries to rally. I think it's a patient moment here. If you want to stay short, at least I want to be staying short, have to look back, chill, see what happens when we test those highs. Because as quickly as we just got out 30 there, we're right back into the actual high of the day on AMD. So patience, everybody. This market bounce. In some places, like, look at this. We're right back at the top. Where's the NASDAQ? NASDAQ is making lower highs.
Yeah.
So, like, it's distinctly different in a few chip names here.
Yeah, no, and I'm trying to be stubborn here still with Nvidia. I did not reload that at 105.50. I was waiting for 105.75. I will take a small piece now that I see that it did hold, but we're gonna work our way out of that one. Is there any other names here in the chat that you guys want us to talk about? I mean, here's the hot.
Don't look at SoFi.
That must be tanking, SoFi. I mean,
$12, dude.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought yesterday was SoFi. We had talked about maybe today. Yeah, I mean, getting worse, obviously, but I thought maybe yesterday SoFi, because we were both so like basically horned up for the long yesterday and then it came back in. I thought it was just a day one issue there, but yeah, SoFi right there today. Yeah, good look on that one, down 8.
Well, it's not a good look; it's a bad look.
No, but I mean, good look on the stock is something else that's moving around. That's
really
not
bad.
A tech name here.
Oh,
SOXL, SPY. I want to thank everybody for hitting that like button because we're at the 2.5K. I mean, let's set a record and get to 3K right now, unassisted by bots. See if we can get that going, guys. 3K with over well, still 10,800 of you watching. If you haven't hit the like button, do that. I'm just trying to look here. SoFi, Apple, you know, this is again the trade rate. So SOXL obviously bouncing around here, down 6%. A big day traded name there. If you're looking at the SOX or SOXL, of course, that's semiconductors. There goes Amazon, Neil. Amazon does break 180. I'm not sure if it's just, it's already done that. So it's already touched 179 today. I actually thinking about going in and buying this. I do have a bid lower. I didn't trigger yet, so I wonder if I just put a day on that yesterday, not 2 days. So I got to go find out where that account is. Palantir is getting hit right now, only down 2% though. Palantir, when we looked at it earlier, guys, was down 4%. And we had said that if there was going to be any name that may battle back on a strong PCE number, which is not that it was strong, but the market sort of felt that, Nice bounce there for Palantir. I mean, the rich get richer here as the longs on Palantir starting to print up $3. Like, what a move. Up $3 from the bottom. Like, Palantir and Nvidia, give or take, are the same price, right? I mean, low 100s right now. This is what Nvidia looks like today. Nothing. Like, just doing nothing. I mean, I've been doing pretty good on it, but, you know, not doing, I'm going to get something out there at 32. Not doing that much. We just got another fill there at 52. But compare that to Palantir, which is doing this. I mean, you know, we know where the strength is right now. Any more dips in this market, I'm going right over to Palantir.
It's the Mag 7 that are really, really bad.
Yeah, I didn't even look at Google yet.
It's the Mag 7, because like, if you look at everything else, like SMCI has been trending up. I mean, the chip names, AMD's now back to trending up after being weak, but you're all the way to the downside on Tesla, Amazon. I'm going to get to a couple of super chats here. Shout out to appreciate you guys. Obviously, it's busy. The market's moving a heck of a lot. We have M&R Racer, MSTR short printed. Thoughts on a second drop? Well, Bitcoin is trying to hold out at 93.2 on MSTR. By the way, now SMCI is closed underneath the trend line, which is essentially what I was looking for before. You don't want to break your execution rules, which I obviously did in that case. MSTR, if you're looking for a second salvo, look at this trend back up. Like, I think you need, like, you've broken this downward trend here very, very heavily. Look at the 15-minute bar that you've got going on. I'd be so patient with this, like, 375 level on SMCI for a bit of a curl, because that's a huge bounce. It's a stronger bounce in the overall market, which puts it into the relative strength bucket. So if something is relatively strong, to me, your level of patience when shorting it, or you're taking some kind of a, like what I like.
There's Nvidia.
Like you're just taking like a quick little snapshot at it, like a trend break, throw your stop at the prior high, and then hold it back into the low or the VWAP, where it's very binary and you know you have some defined risk in there.
Yeah, so we're defining our risk right now with Nvidia. We had talked about this, there was something up with it. I just could not flip up into the long. I mean, normally I like pride myself on being able to switch gears, and I'll do that. It's just, we're not even, because we've gotten some out, because we're managing, because we waited for this print to come into the 200 period moving average, we have a good position. We're 5 units. We're like half of, like, we're pretty much maximum for what I'd want to take in this market right now for Nvidia, and we're short at 105.60. So we'll go red on the name if it breaks above, but it still has to break above. So I'm going to wait for that 106 to come in right now. You know, it's a huge move up, in my opinion, right now for Nvidia. That 106, let's just see if it winds up holding. It was a level that we had written down. We liked 106. I wrote down 106 to 107 on here. So, you know, if it does break 106, let's just get out. We'll lick the wounds a little bit there, and it won't be great, but it also won't be horrendous either. I do understand that we are getting close to blowing that top. We are also at VWAP for the TQQs. So I'm, you know, looking to get short here as well at 51.70 now for the TQQs. So if that comes up right there into VWAP, we will take that short. And just to see, I mean, the market always looks like your positions look worse when they come into your levels. I mean, that's sort of what's supposed to happen.
AMD is a moon right
in order to get short. AMD is mooning? Yeah, that's going to be bad. Well, so is Nvidia. Nvidia's up about $1 in the last couple minutes. I don't
so
maybe
Hare in the chat, shout out to you for noticing this as well. Look, I was going to take this again on the trend break regardless, but there was a big seller. I want to say I'm saying was because I don't see it on the book because we're moved away from it. At 30.40, there was a big seller on the bid of SMCI. All right, you're not going to fill me at 12, then you'll fill me at 14. So we want to pull back. Let's see if 30 can hold or break, get some 29.9s, and I want VWAP. VWAP retracement here on a trend up in SMCI. Should never have gotten this before it closed underneath the trend line, but at this point, you know, like this, when it trends up like this, you either have to join the trend or you wait for it to break that trend. But it was a great question. Luis Martinez, you guys, the downtrend has been broken. Why not try the long? You got to like the long somewhere. Like I looked over it, like AMD broke that trend down. Like if I didn't have this long when I trailed out of the short, yeah, good argument. Why not? And then I look at it here when I was getting filled at VWAP, sure. Bias was short. Sometimes that's how it is. And all you can try to do there is limit the damage or have a particular short entry when you break that trend. I'm now out of this. I do not want to jump into this long one more time or short one more time unless I see something distinctly change in the other direction. So break this new upward trend that we formed, something that SMCI did. If you're looking at where the short has been continuing, I point you to Amazon. Like this gets to VWAP and is falling off of VWAP. Like it's distinctly different. Goes into a resistance spot and is resisting. That's what you want to see happen. So I'm pivoting over to Amazon here. We did like this, I didn't want $189 when I sat down, but obviously the market decided other things were going to happen off those numbers.
So we missed that TQQ trade as it comes right up to 51.70. We don't get filled. So it basically came right to our price. We did not get filled. But it's this trade that's the problem. Nvidia just went back to flat. Like it just bounced, and I wasn't covering any, of course. It went to 58s basically, which is we're short at 59, but that doesn't matter. This is coming into question. Our stop is a break of 106. So if that happens, then we will be out and we'll have to phone AJ and Free and find out what's up with 106 and Park. Yeah, that's going to be the position for me right there as we continue to watch out on Nvidia. So we'll have to look at that. The only long that you mentioned, and individual in the chat there, why not go long? Yeah, probably the long could be in. You know, there's no doubt, and you want to look for names that, you know, Robinhood does report tonight. This was the only name that was on my sticky note down there at 45. Just was thinking that if we did get back into any of these levels, we could try to buy. That was sort of that gap fill right there through from 41.80 up to 44. So I just thought, hey, 45 would be a huge move down. So if we're able to pick something up on Robinhood, I did like the strength. Robinhood, it doesn't give me like Palantir vibes or anything like that, but you know, it is a strong name and we know can get strong, especially if the market wants to flex some of its muscles. And right now, the chip space is. Nvidia kind of is going meme crazy now a little bit, which is bothering me. You know, anytime it dips down, it just gets bought right back up. Like I was watching this thing like a hawk down there at 105.50. It just kept on doing exactly that, man. Just dripping down, buying back up. It's happening right now. I mean, look, that 96 just holds, right? Now 97, like there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. So you're starting to break higher now through 106. So let's see if, you know, that's the level that we're at. We're at 106.10. If that breaks, then we are out. We did not average into this trade up here. We are very, very comfortable. Oh, well, we took a little small trade there, but our average price is 66 right now, and it looks like it's going to blow a little bit higher than that. So that's my trade there on Nvidia. Let's hope for a downside play if you're me, but let's go over. I mean, we're not even that bad. I'm going to get something out at 75 just to relieve some pressure if it does pull back in, but it looks like Nvidia's on its way higher, and we'll flip up our position and our opinion when we get back. As soon as we get stopped out of this, then we'll have to probably start looking for longs. But hey, man, we took a shot. It was working really well early, and then those numbers kind of flipped up there. What a great pending home sales number. I didn't think that would affect the market as much. And then, you know, a better PCE than last read. 2.3 versus 2.7. I did not expect that after the move that we'd seen early on today. So, all right, we're now short the futures. We're short Nvidia, and we're going over to the screen with Adara.
Nice bounce off the lows here for the Russell 2000. Still very much red on the day, down more than 2%. But making a little bit of a bottom here is the IWM so far. Freight Technologies with a fascinating catalyst today, FRGT, announcing they've secured up to $20 million to create an official Trump token treasury. We've heard of Bitcoin treasuries, FRGT giving us a TRUMP treasury. If you remember Trump coin or Trump token, Freight Technologies trying to cash in on that. Then we have Sharps Technology here, STSS, receiving a $400,000 purchase order from a U.S. leader in IV flushing solutions. STSS, decent float here, about 15 million shares, and short float, pretty interesting here, I believe above 10%. Then we have GORO, this company in the gold space. We know gold has been definitely on watch lately, so GORO at day's highs. But yeah, keep an eye on FRGT, GORO, and STSS as you continue through the day. Back to you.
Real big pullback in the VIX too as well. Like we got to 28 and right back underneath that 27 level. So we blew through. This was one of the reasons. And when you're trending up like this, you're looking for that continuation. I thought maybe you'd see like 29.5, but we're not. I think until you calm down here, if the prior top, like 26.7, 27, ends up catching a bid simultaneously while we're holding VWAP underneath, on the NQ, that's where you're looking for the curl. So I'm sticking with, if I'm not long right now, then it's got to be a very specific short setup that has a good tight stop on it. That's why I'm in SMCI. It's just, like I said, the trend break into VWAP, and then we'll move on to whatever is next. Amazon, I'm still favoring short on Amazon. This is breaking, this is now breaking trend back as well. So as I was pontificating on SMCI, Amazon's uptrend is breaking back in. So I can short this, give it to the local top underneath the 181. And Amazon's been relatively weak the whole way. Don't have to worry about battling. Like, AMD's still at the highs. Amazon is $2 away from its top, which is a full percentage point. So I'll jump into this, give it to that prior bar break, see if we can't get mean reversion trades until we have a clear direction for myself with this 19.3 on the NASDAQ and this level here on the VIX as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So we did get some of those Nvidias out there at 75s. It did come back in a little bit for us. So we just took out. Honestly, we took a little bit of a 10-cent hit there on 10% of the position just because, honestly, it was, I don't know if this is going down. I do want to hold it for that move. So the NASDAQ, I was like, oh my gosh, because we shorted it. I didn't even realize like that we had sort of, I mean, I did realize that we do want 52 short right into there, but it did fall back in a little bit. We're short at 70s. We have a 60 fill and a 57 fill. So we got some out at VWAP right there. It's only 10 cents on the TQ position, so it's not huge by any stretch. And then right there, we got 13 cents down there to 57, and we are out of less than that's 5%, sorry, in total now, only out of that. If we can get a 51 print, that'd be pretty good. But right now, we have much bigger fish to fry right here with NVDA because this looks like it wants to take it out. It just supported the 200 period moving average. I was hoping the other way would have been the case there for Nvidia. So 105.60, I was hoping that would hold, and it looks like it held on the downside, not on the upside. Relatively strong there, Nvidia.
Okay, we all know the saying, everybody. Big opportunity always comes with big risk. But what if it wasn't true anymore? Trade the Pool is redefining what risk means for traders. No more risking your life savings to prove yourself in the market. They give you access to company capital up to $200,000 to trade real stocks, no CFDs, and your downside is limited to a single one-time fee that starts at just $47. That means no blowing up your personal account. You get to trade with serious buying power, all while knowing your loss is capped. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited time during the evaluation process, and you get the freedom to trade your way with no time pressure. Visit tradethepool.com and see how far your $47 can take you. And with that, scan that QR code, check the link in the description. Let's go to the desk with Adara.
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang making comments here in a CNBC interview saying that he's, quote, certain we can manufacture chips onshore with the resources of our nation. So Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang making some positive comments here with regards to U.S. manufacturing. We know this is a topic that has certainly been on watch as of late. Just keep an eye here on NVDA. Back to you.
It's going to cost
you. My eye's only been on one stock today, so NVDA, yeah. I don't like being in this name while he's talking, of course, because the man is just a wizard. So, you know, he can easily calm sort of the fears here with NVIDIA. I'd almost rather him say the opposite. We're screwed. But right now, I don't think he'll do that. Yeah, no, he ain't saying that. So we'll have to wait to see. Maybe he has the ear of Xi Jinping over there in China. But here we go. NVIDIA looks like it wants to take it out. Like, we're just in this, and if it does break the high, then we can scram out of that one. I'm not really seeing too much else. I mean, Bitcoin has made the move down already, so IBIT right now, now battling back. It's down that 1.5%. We talked about it possibly, and I think it was in the chat earlier. I don't exactly remember the individual's name, but maybe JC something was asking. I said 93 could be the bottom there. Okay, so we're a couple pennies away. There it is. Looks like we will have to take the L here overall. There it goes. So there goes NVIDIA. So it did just hit that 106.10 area. That's where we got stopped out. So again, the minute that Jensen's talking, I don't think it was helping the stock for the short, definitely helping out the long. So we will slap a fail. I hope I just didn't get stopped out at the very highs there because there it is pulling back in. We want to try it one more time. time. Oh my God. That always, I just made the high on Nvidia there on the day. So whenever I do that, it's generally a good idea to go follow the short, because there it is. Now it's back to flat, although we just got stopped out. So, okay, that's fine. It is pulling back in a little bit. Maybe this is just giving me some reasons to go long, but I still don't really love the long here. That's too bad that I just wicked the top there. I'm going to try it one more time. This is not really being too stubborn. It's just we might have just made the top, and I don't know. It seems to happen to me yesterday 3 or 4 times, and then there again right now. So what a difference a day makes there just by simply having your order a couple pennies the other way. But yeah, that's too bad there. So, all right, that's what Nvidia is doing. Let's see if it comes right back up to the top now. We'll go short. We also don't, in case it breaks that's 106. So we're going to go there. 106.16 there to see if it breaks. We were just at 106.11 and then got stopped out. That's a real shame on that one. That's too bad. All right, the futures are at VWAP, so we're okay going shorter right now on the futures, but we are waiting for this trade. 52, that's the TQs, yeah, $52 right there. Sorry, we're above VWAP, but we're at that level high right now. So if the market's going to fall down for us, maybe it happens right now. We do not want to get into the gambling form or anything like that. I think it's worth a little bit of risk here at this top to see what winds up happening. We did get stopped out of Nvidia. That does suck, but we are right back into it. We make that money back. I just don't need to be here if it's going to be wrong, but we want to try one more time.
Oh, it's going to break one.
Futures right now are doing what they're doing. Looks like you got the good one with SMCI. Amazon 180.50. I should be long Amazon in the personal account a little bit longer. I do like that price for a long-term spot.
Well,
man, screw you, Nvidia.
One of them's good, the other one's not. Like SMCI did trend back into VWAP. Oh, shoot. WW was just at 99, and now I just got filled at 90. That doesn't make any sense.
This must be some more news.
Okay. All right, look, SMCI was good. I got to show you, we show you the winners, we got to show you the losers too. Amazon just broke that trend and broke that little top, so it was one of the only things holding on to VWAP, but that just broke it out. WW has some crazy wicks in here. It was just at, we had a VWAP, that broke 87. I swear, I was putting in a breakout order at $1, and I had a 101 stop that I had just hit enter on, and all of a sudden I was getting filled at 92. So this stock is going absolutely nuts. You have to give it, I think you have to give it a couple of points in here. Yeah. So I'm not taking the 101 break. I'm buying the dip in front of VWAP again on that stock. So SMCI, which we've been short, it's weird that one of the strongest things this morning is now on its pullback phase. But at this point, either it gets to VWAP or we get out back at our break even. Forget about the high of the day, although I think I still have my stop there. We have a break even stop now on SMCI. So it's got to be mean reversion trades for me. I want to play something. If when you're still trending up, it's got to show me the trend break. And WW, hopefully, I don't think anyone would be long up at that high because it didn't break $1. But yeah, right back into the volume weighted average price for sure. Tesla looking incredibly strong, everybody. That's holding above the volume weighted average price. I feel like if this gets out and about above 280, it's Squeezeville for Tesla. But you're just not out of the woods yet. Like your opening range top is still $2-3 away. Ooh. So you got to be careful. If you're not taking the mean revert down here or down here, maybe you get away with the 275. The chase is dangerous at this time of day for 1030. I'd be way too. Okay, I just don't like that. I don't like that play. Want to be able to add to WW, but it's not going to be on a breakout. Everybody, it's going to be buying the dips if you up again.
I guess Nvidia is just blasting up right here. We do have crypto, though, with Adara. There goes Nvidia 106.20.
Take a look here at the daily chart for Bitcoin, because this is still looking pretty strong here. Obviously well removed from these highs, but we bounced beautifully off of that 74.7 level. And now I'm going to zoom in to show you guys what's kind of been happening in this, I'll call it a bull flag that we had off of this breakout. Breaking past that resistance around 86,000 that we started forming in mid-April. We get that breakout last Monday around April 21st. Now look at the support we've continuously seen here at 92.8, almost 93,000. This is the third day now that we've seen in the past week or so where we've gotten to this level and bounced. Let's see if we can hold that bounce, because if not, looks like we could have to run into some resistance around 89,000, could have a resistance turning to support situation. But either way, be very cognizant of this 93,000 level. In terms of overhead resistance to clear, it still looks like that 96,000. Let's take a look at other crypto-related names today. Ethereum back below 1,800, down about 2.67%. Ethereum down 4%. Oh, sorry, XRP down almost 5% there, 4.7%. Solana down 3%. Doge down 4%. Cardano down 4%. And in terms of crypto-related news, in case anyone missed it this morning, there's actually a small cap called RFGT. They're investing here in a Trump coin treasury. We've heard of Bitcoin treasuries, but FRGT here with a Trump coin treasury. Furthermore, Robinhood, which we know is a pretty big player in the crypto space, they're reporting earnings tonight after the bell. So join Sean, myself, and Sheree for an earnings party, 4 p.m. Eastern. Back to you.
Yeah, it's Neil.
It's me.
Thank
It's
God.
me.
It's a me. It's a Mario.
I was saying, like, it's Wednesday, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good to go. It's going to be, look, it's going to be a wild one. Obviously, Meta's going to be in play. You notice not even touching that one with the 10-foot pole when they report, but it's the same looking chart as pretty much everything else. Downtrend early into a somewhat of a breakout, still have to contend with the opening range. Like, I just looked over at Apple, right to the opening range top, and trying to break it out. This is what gets it going, I think, for us here. Like, if you start breaking out some of these highs, that's where your next salvo can be. You're above VWAP as well on the NASDAQ. I said SMCI, either we're getting to and breaking volume weighted average price, or we're going to go break even, stop there. Like, we'll end up 1 for 4 on SMCI, although I did break the rule here. That shouldn't have been a short. The VWAP shorts were always going to be in play, but I should never have a trend break that doesn't break the trend. That's just silly. You don't want to do that. Tesla, not really doing much. AMD is what's surprising. Wow. Okay, AMD. It was good early, but ever since it broke the trend, it has been absolutely flying unabated to the upside. I mean, when I sat down, we were looking at like 94.3. It blew through that on the economic numbers. Suddenly, you got to look at that as maybe find the support again at 94 1/3. So this can hold on to the top end of the range. It's that, or we pull all the way back into 93.6, 93.8 to try to join an upward trend. But SMCI going to hold it to break even. WW still looking for it to break that $1 level. And patience on AMD. The fact it wants to go green is amazing.
Yeah, we're losing our patience here. We're long now on Nvidia. Like, you know, we get stopped out up there at 106.10, which is fine. But I just trying to play that momentum now. We've broken through this level right here of 105.60. So this is like an area that I'm trying to see if we want to hold that area. Now it's trying to come back down. You know, we did get short. I mean, the futures were just a real quick, man. We were short there. We took a little bit of profit at VWAP. We talked about that. And then we went shorter at which was sort of the open market high of $52. And then we sort of just went back up into that 200 period before falling back down again. So look, man, I got hit there. But like Neil said, patience and maybe using, you know, going into a less share mode now, because there's Nvidia just cranking lower. Like, I had this short. This was our price on Nvidia. Like, we were short 105.80s, you know, and we got stopped out at 106.10, what we just said there, 106.11. And then I said, okay, well, let's join the party long now. Let's find some areas to get long. So now we're long on Nvidia, and it's coming right back in like crazy time. So, you know, the trading for me has really fallen off a cliff here because, you know, we've been watching VWAP, we've been watching some of these plays, and it's just like right now it's a little bit too much back and forth right now for a lot of these names. So we sort of knew this. Every time someone asks me, how's the market? How's everything going? And this and that. And I keep saying, like, it's pretty hard for day traders right now because of this movement that we have where, you know, 1 minute you got this story, the next minute you got another story, and these stocks are sort of reacting differently than we've seen over the last couple months, right? But anyways, we've had a good April. We've lost our way the last couple days. Let's see if we can get it back. We're going to go long here on Nvidia against 105.60. And if that breaks, then we really have some soul searching to do here because we'll have to regroup a little bit on what strategies we're using, share sizing, and so on and so forth, because this market is not being too kind to some of the levels that I thought would eventually hold. But hey, man, you know, making mistakes is part of the game. It's correcting them, and how fast do you do that? That matters, because I'm just one keystroke away from doing a lot of damage or inflicting a lot of damage on myself All right, Neil,
Well, it's a good place to find, I
Yeah.
think, where you can evaluate what type of market you're in, where the excitement is, individual stocks, ETFs, is going to be over at eSignal. And by the way, everybody, the first month is still free.
You have to be kidding me.
So FREE, first month free. They're waiving the fees, so you can try it out. It's an easy to use and very intuitive platform with reliable data, back testing, forward testing, tick replay, which is incredibly valuable. Incredibly valuable. You can use use the imbalance locator, level 1, level 2 data. You can connect to many brokers for active trading as well. So it's a great platform, game-changing charts, so you can take your trading game to the next level. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. Remember, first month free, so you can try it out here. I have my laid up, and just you throw your technicals up on there. Our platform has our own charting as well, but you can see maybe we're doing a trend break. I like to look at that sometimes. I could draw that up on here. As I said, you can look at the live level too. You can have some of these scanners up like the trade rate, which is telling me that Nvidia and Tesla are the 1-2 on my trade rate list. Nvidia, Tesla, what you'd expect. I don't know what PTIR is, whatever the heck that is, but that's doing relatively low volume. It's all the things you'd expect. SOXL, TQs, SQs, Meta in there, Plug for some reason. I have no idea why Plug Power would be doing volume. So while that happened, but WW just failed the dollar break, by the way. So that was it failing. I'm 1 for 2 on it. Lost off VWAP, got like a miracle fill dip buy, although candidly, I wanted more shares at like 90. I had 90, 91, and 92. It tagged 92 and then shot back up to the high. But it just went over under the dollar to 101, snapped back down. So I'm out and looking for the next available dip buy on formerly Weight Watchers, I guess we're supposed to call it. It's still Weight Watchers to me because your symbol is WW. That's what everyone calls you. So that's what you are. So SMCI goes right back into our trend reverse area and does not break out. So still looking for the break of the volume-weighted average price. I think it's setting up for some reloads here. It's currently relatively calm, down 7%. With the market trying to break out, this is pulling back. So I think this one looks okay. We'll try to get back into it. WW, I hope it pulls back, but it just broke the dollar again. If it can settle over $1, I might take some longs over the dollar this time.
All righty then. All right, man. Like, honestly, I got out of 35% of this Nvidia trade. We had a good trade there that was about to get real nasty, but it does hold off of that 200 period moving average there of 105.60. So, our average price there was 105.90s, or maybe it was a little bit better than that. I think it was better because, anyways, it doesn't matter. It's right where it is right now. Let's see if we can get above that 106 in park, and then at that point, we'll see if it can fly back into some of those days high right there. 106.10 would be great level. That's where I'm sitting for my next out, 106.10, then 106.20. But, need some news here to do something. We got stopped out of our TQs trade, which is okay, and now we're waiting to see if Nvidia does get going to the upside right now. That was a good wait. Like, we just should have waited for that print to come right here where we had seen Pat's support. So I know there's a bunch of super chats that we're going to go over.
Well, just one.
Go ahead. Go now. Yeah,
but we're going to go to Darren in a quick second. I got to get to Arcus FX there. Shout out to you. Appreciate this. I know rethinking needed. You're doing great, guys. Whipsaw markets take no prisoners. You're right about that. You're getting whipped in and out. Wow, okay, WW just went to 107.
What?
So that's it might be holding that dollar. Even that stock's going absolutely ham. That's what it's like. Sometimes you miss those lows. I wish I had a long off the bottom, but we don't. You just got to move on to the next trade and then make sure you take advantage of it. So shout out to you and appreciate that super chat, everybody. Just hit the like, subscribe, and make sure to subscribe because you want to be in the chat community. The community is the best here. Trading alone is a hard thing. So we want people contributing. I love when you guys answer questions. I love when you guys ask them. I love when you guys help each other. And we love it when we go to the desk with Adara.
We had some more comments coming through here from Jensen Huang, CEO of Nvidia, in a CNBC interview a couple of minutes ago. He just said here that Trump should be revising the rules for AI chip exports. And he also added the president has a good plan for tariffs and AI. So Jensen Huang advising that maybe the U.S. administration revising its AI chip rules, but he did say that he thinks that the plan for tariffs and AI is a good one. Let's talk here about this sector board. There's one decisively green sector that I can see. It's communications. Other than that, tons of weakness. Start here with technology services. Electronic technology here. Nvidia, as just mentioned, we just talked about CEO Jensen Huang. Nvidia down 3%. A lot of these names pretty weak here after SMCI reported much weaker than expected preliminary earnings. Meta dragging the technology services sector to the downside ahead of its earnings report tonight. They also did have potentially some sympathy on Snapchat earnings that came out last night as well. Finance pretty weak here. Retail trade kind of mixed to flat, but Amazon really bringing this group to the downside. Consumer services weak. Producer manufacturing weak with the exception here of a TT. Utilities red. Energy minerals red and consumer durables red. So there's not, it's pretty hard to find some strength in this market. And again, unless it is the communication services sector. Guys, back to you.
Yeah, and if they're the strength in the market, that's not necessarily a good thing. Okay.
Well, comm services was the highest sector last year.
Yeah, that's what well, no, I mean, I'm just talking about like recently.
Yeah.
So I'm out of the last short
Gotcha.
because, all right, SMCI just bounced off VWAP. That's the rule. Mean revert, if it's a trend up and I'm taking a mean revert off the high, if it bounces off VWAP, I'm out. So we bounced off VWAP and I'm jumping out of the trader. Arcus with another super chat. You guys rock, the best day traders on TV, period. Markets ish right now. Keep it going. Well, sometimes you're supposed to read it first, which I do. But let's get going to the upside. I said, I'm jumping out of this short. We'll be patient here. Thankfully, SMCI got us some back, and this market is holding.
Let's go
for now.
Hold up.
Holding.
Right now. Go. Let's go. Here we go. Finally. Thank you, Arsis, man. Keeping us positive. Thank you to Sharif over here. Thanks to Neil. Thanks to everybody. There it goes. Bang, right back into there, man. There it goes for Nvidia. Oh boy, we're about to be positive on this name right now. We went from the depths of hell into we happy time. There it goes, nice move to the upside. Man, I need a doctor immediately, like a psychiatrist or something. Here we go, 106.40, nice move to the upside. Oh boy, we unhinged now, baby. This is what we're doing. It's a monster trade, Neil. Oh boy, I just put on the most shares of Nvidia I think I've ever had. There it goes, nice move to the upside. Let's see if it keeps going. Like Neil and I turned to each other and was like, this is the word, those numbers were bad. Like what's going on with this market? So right now I'm feeling some kind of way right now because this is starting to get going to the upside, man. What's bad is good and what's good is bad. And right now I'm hoping that the Blue Jays tonight, who have been horrible, can get that victory because I'll be at that Corona bar sipping some of those tonight. As I meet, again, some friends where I'm in 2 football pools. Okay, here goes Palantir right now. They're at the high of the day as well. What up, Alex? How you doing, my guy? We're in some good moods around here right now. Jensen, man, I went from like stop talking to keep talking. Like right now, we need this Nvidia to get going. That was just a quick little look there on Palantir. Nice upside push there for PLTR up to 1450. That looks like that's the pre-market high. So you might get some excitement now from Palantir. Look, man, if you guys think that we're having a good time now, you are right. But we have a good time every single day. It's about to even get, listen to this, English. It's about to get even gooder on our midday show. By the way, I also need a teacher, English teacher, as well. Over 9,000 of you watching. This number needs to be 3K. I'm not sure if you're feeling the energy. We've got energy right here, right now. It's been a good day, man. We've been talking all about many different things, man. WW we've been looking at. Snapchat, SMCI, AMD, the futures. It doesn't stop. AMD, yeah, exactly. I don't even know what to do anymore. I'm just going to sit here and watch the market start to make some moves.
We got some memberships here from.
Let's go.
He's added again. Arcis FX. I think
this guy's all over it.
Not Arcus. Sent 10 live.
Let's go, Arcus.
Trading memberships. If you want to grab these, I think when you log in, you have to enable gifts. So shout out to you. That's what it's all about. Spread that love. We appreciate you and thank you for all that you are doing today. For all of our viewers, it's not just about the super chats. It's like everyone else that's contributing. I'm going to get to some other things, but very quickly, another bounce off VWAP. Like 3 times we tried the bounce off VWAP, 1 for 2. If this fails, look, it's under $1. I'm talking about WW. It's under the dollar and it failed the dollar. Well, fail under VWAP means I start looking short on this. I did pay for locates, so we have the ability to short this here over at Real Trading. AMD, all the way back. Not green, but right back to where we were when everything started. So I'm still eyeballing this one. Like to me, we're not out of the woods just yet.
Nope.
You've broken I like to leave in trend lines like this. If it breaks and then respects the top end of the trend, look for it to break the steeper trend line next. So I've got this one up. I'm not rushing into any shorts. WW, I think, is going to give us some moves for sure. And I want to go back over to Tesla for everybody. Tesla, I don't know what to tell you. Like 5-10 minutes ago, I was saying, man, Tesla trying to hold VWAP. If we can get out and about, start breaking towards 80, that's going to be like one kind of a squeeze long. It's back under the volume weighted average price and kind of resuming the downward trend here. So disappointing look for Tesla. We thought we could join the party on TSLA. So this doesn't look like a long just yet, but I am eyeballing this steeper trend from the high break on AMD. So AMD makes that trend break. It's similar to what we did with SMCI, where SMCI was trending up. Take the short back into the volume weighted average price. That's what I want to do here with AMD. Could happen at any moment. You always want to be really quick about it. I always forget to hit save after I do that. So now I can save my trend line there. So we break this trend since the high break, and I jump into the short to VWAP and VWAP only.
Okay, it didn't load. Okay, yeah, it's okay.
We're good?
No, we're not good yet.
Oh.
Ramin, do you want to go see maybe a little bit of help up there? The VinFast thing did not run. Okay, so just real quickly, we did have Mitch, Money Mitch from Trade the Pool. Thank you, Money Mitch, for coming there. And I see that yesterday. He talked about look out for some nuclear plays, right? So there's SMR, a possible play there. It's down. Look, I didn't even realize it was down. It's just hitting my scanner. But he had mentioned them yesterday. It did not have a good day. They were down yesterday. It looks like they're a little down today as well, SMR. So just pay attention to that. It's a sector that he was mentioning, and I wanted to look at that. So SMR is not the only one. There's also NNE can be played as well to the long side if you do like some of the small nuclear reactors, which is SMR. And of course, we always say SMR, but the company's name is New Scale. All right, so we just got some more outs there on Nvidia. I just wanted to let you guys know right there, 106.28. We just took that out. All right, as they work on something, we don't need to worry about it. We're going to talk about what's for lunch right now because it's in the building.
It's already 10:50.
Now it's already 10:50. Like, how fast is this coming today? All right, I have no idea. I will mispronounce this, but just like I told you guys, I'm down with Thailand, and I want to go. I've been to Singapore with this business. So I've traveled all over the world with real trading, opening up offices, helping traders, helping offices grow and whatnot. Singapore was one of my most favorite places to visit for sure. All right, you know what? Let's just run the VinFast and we'll do this and then we'll talk about what's for lunch because there it is, man. I love that look. And I said this the other day. I saw VinFast on the road yesterday and it was this really great orange color. I don't know. But anyways, VinFast closed 2024 with strong financial and operational performance, signaling big progress on its global EV journey. It reached over US $678 million in revenue, up 70% year over year and 34% quarter over quarter. Over 97,000 EVs delivered in 2024, including 53,000 in Q4 alone. That is near a 200% increase year over year, underscoring traction across core and new markets. They're also globally expanding with over 322 EV showrooms and 322 e-scooter showrooms as well, now operational worldwide as of March of 2025, including both VinFast owned and dealer operated locations. They also are spending money continuing developing their V-Green charging infrastructure and growth of GSM electric ride hailing services in key Asian markets. So check out VinFast, VFS. Interesting to hear them talk about the ride hailing business, as we know that is something that is well talked about, especially in the EV space. And with a company that I've heard of before, something about TS and it ends with an A. There's a letter in there somewhere as well.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, something like that. There we go. We did our Andrew Rader moment right there. We'll check out VFS when we get back, but for right now, it's Miss Adara.
Here is the U.S. dollar. We're going to do some money talks. Great look here for the DXY, continuing to try to bounce off these lows around 98 on the daily chart. As mentioned, that 100,000 level is still very elusive to the U.S. dollar. Pushing higher here, I guess this is our second green daily candle in a row. In case you missed it, we had some big economic data prints on watch today. First, we had GDP, lower than expected, coming in actually negative print, but even larger than the negative print that we were expecting, coming in at negative 0.3% versus negative 0.2%. PCE, though, fared a little bit better when we got that number coming through at 10 a.m. For the record, the Trump administration has already responded to the GDP print. Trump posted on Truth Social right away saying that it is not the fault of his administration and that he's dealing with a bad economy that he inherited. We also had trade advisor Peter Navarro coming through and saying that it's the best negative GDP print he's ever seen. So that's their comments there. It's also worth noting here with regards to, give me a moment here, sorry, with regards to the Fed Watch tool, I took a look here. Everything's basically the same. We're still seeing no likelihood of a rate cut at the next meeting, which is in just over a week now. But people are expecting about 63% of a 25 basis point cut. So no cut likely at this May meeting. The next meeting, we might be getting that rate cut. And we are brought to you by our friends here at ProfitX. Do you want top-tier odds and total control? ProfitX brings you peer-to-peer picking, open API access for automation, and cost-efficient trading all in one place. It's like day trading, your favorite sports. Make offers, match plays, and even manage your risk with diverse prediction options. Don't just place picks, exchange them. ProfitX, the smarter, faster way to play. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Thank you to ProfitX, and back to you.
They're getting desperate now. They're
the best quote ever or the worst quote ever? I'm not even sure which one.
First, the print is Biden's problem, and then now it's one of the best red prints this man, who we never heard of before this, has ever seen. So shout out to Peter Navarro.
No, we know.
No, we know who he is. I'm not saying before. I'm saying before the administration.
Peter Navarro. Nobody.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of winning is what Joe is saying right now. And I mean, today it's been winning. Look, the NASDAQ down 1.5%. We're just having fun here. And obviously my mood
it's a jokes
is a good
quote,
one.
man. It's a jokes quote.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, you know, it's that Spider-Man meme, right? Like Navarro's pointing at Lutnick and Lutnick's pointing at whomever and Trump is sitting in the background playing golf. It's like it's all this stuff happening right now. Thank you so much right there for all of the super chats. And I haven't covered any of these today because honestly, I've just been so like zoned in with this Nvidia trade, to be honest with you. But all right, sounds like the markets are an extended Trump hands pattern. That's hilarious. I don't even know what that means. Be careful because this pattern usually plays into double Dumbledore. Okay, then dumps down back into an inverted elf shoe. Okay, so that's what I feel like right now when we're looking at this market. And I know that's just all kidding aside. We don't play, politics one way or the other. We're just looking at how this market is reacting to some of these stories. And we're thankful that we have Adara there, at least, when the story is actually real. All these stories are real, but a market moving, then you're going to see it. And we're going to have Adara right here. So make sure that you stay tuned with what we're showing you right now, every day, all day until 4:30 when the market recap show. And again, the only show that's going to show you as it happens all of the names. Like Meta will come up, bang, we'll do Meta. Microsoft come up, bang, we'll switch right over again. Other shows will spend 20, 30 minutes with people just saying, man, that was a good quarter. I don't know what's going on. We'll show you price action. We'll show you everything. But the one thing
where the buyers and sellers step in. And by the way, Meta, look, Zuck, you better come out on time, all right? None of this nonsense of making us wait an extra half an hour. I'm just saying. Yeah,
it's a little bit later, but we forgot to do our Thailand special with what's for lunch. Okay, because Joe's looking over at me saying, guys, like you forgot the what's for lunch thing. So, all right. Pad Gra Prow, which says in brackets.
Yeah, because we all know what that is.
I
don't need that.
Thai beef and basil stir fry. Yeah. That sounds good, right? Steamed jasmine rice, vegetable stir fry on the side with, so this is funny because this time it's a Thai cabbage salad. Whenever we get jerk chicken, it says island cabbage salad. So we have Thai cabbage salad.
I don't know what that
The
means,
day
but
we
it
have
sounds
hamburgers, it will say American cabbage salad. But anyways, look, a couple good outs there on Nvidia. We are getting ready, but that's what's for lunch. But here goes Nvidia. We've cleaned out this position. We only have 25% left. It just did have a run to the upside. I was waiting at 45, so hopefully that will come. That's the high of the day. I just wanted to say I wanted to get out similarly to where we were, so we do miss that by 5 pennies. But that doesn't mean that that's not coming back in. I got to go for that swim. We're going to just start to get out of some more trades. Where is my stop order, you may ask? Or not, but I'm going to tell you anyways. 105.60. We talked about that before. We had almost got stopped out. Like we came within 7 or 8 pennies of getting stopped out and having a nightmare there. But, good move back there to the upside. We're pretty happy with our Nvidia trade.
I got to get to this, and with always the caveat for RGC here, be careful with this one. And when I say be careful with this one, this chart looks fantastic and all, but RGC has done 150,000 shares. For everyone that's pumping this one in the chat, like the float is less than 1 million shares, and it's done 150,000 total. It did go from like 31 to 52, so congratulations if you happen to be long this. It's not like it's never moved like this before. Zoom out, check your daily chart. No one ever went broke taking profit. These kind of things are very, very dangerous, everybody. And AMD, well, I was about to say, you said, where's your stop? I was going to say where my stop was on AMD, which was the prior bar high. So SMCI did work on the mean revert. AMD does not. It's now retesting that high a day. Let me just double check SMCI. SMCI is still trending down. So that's actually looking pretty good. Tesla is finally looking a little bit better here, holding on to the volume weighted average price. I was waiting for Tesla to make its journey back above and maybe break out this top. Tesla, I feel like this is just from a risk to reward standpoint, Tesla at VWAP playing catch up with room to 280. You've got $3 of room to 280. If it closes above the volume weighted average price, Tesla's one that I want to the long side. So look, we appreciate everybody and all the super chats that we've gotten here. I know there's lots of names that maybe we've missed. Trust me, a lot of those small cappers, the boys, midday boys are going to be all over those. Just be careful with that last one. We have an IPO as well, which I don't know if we're going to be able to get a chance. We'll see whenever they do open up. But yeah, that RGC, absolutely insane. My next look is going to be either a reload in SMCI, which is still holding that high, or Tesla holding VWAP here. Either needs to give me a bid at 76, or we just break out this absolute top. Let's go Tesla. It does move with the SPY, Rakesh. I'm looking at both the SPY and the NASDAQ. It's not like you have any red candles here. For a moment, though, Tesla was relatively weak. Like while you were still trending up on both the ES and the NASDAQ, Tesla was just showing some momentary weakness. Now that's starting to come back into strength. This dip needs to hold volume weighted average price, and then I jump into a long on TSLA. So I hope that happens, but this market doesn't always give you what you want. That much is 100% true. But I know you guys want the midday. I know you want Sharif. Oh, yeah, I forgot this. Should I forgot? Oh. Yo, Sharif came through. He brought the shoes.
Yo, where's the Nike box?
And then the first thing he says to me is like, no, I can't make this up. He drops these down.
Let's see the shoes. I want to see the shoes.
So he drops down and he goes, you're going to want to wash those, bro. Yeah, he wore them. So look,
take them out.
We'll take them out. So here you go.
Nice.
And if you've been watching and you watched the midday or you watched the aftermarket show last week, you know what I'm going to do with these. But Sharif doesn't know yet, I don't think. But shout out to, he was selling them on Marketplace for $50.
So they're not available. If anybody sees that.
They're not available. Don't ask.
Take down the ad.
You didn't even take down the ad. Come on,
down the ad.
Now you're trolling others, man. All right, man. Good show. Yeah, great.
Hold on a second. You can't say all. He was complaining about people asking them if they're available, and now you don't take them out. You don't take the ad down when it's sold.
Wow, Sharif.
Come on, Sharif. Principle is priceless.
Okay.
Go get it, boys.
See ya.
You're gonna not take the
market
ad
just
down.
ripped.
Yeah, the market just ripped big time. How are you gonna not take the ad down?
Lazy.
Beautiful people, welcome to the Midday Show. That right there is your boy Joey Options, and I'm Sharif, and I'm already in a position